breaks across the plains. Hope rekindles in the crimson tide, as freedom's anthem calls our names. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day. Fields of dreams are ripe once more. Factories hum with honest pride. Our banner waves on every shore, with courage marching by our side. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day. Through trials dark, we found our steel. The eagle's cry breaks through the night. In unity, our wounds now heal. We chase the dawn with fearless light. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day.
Hey everybody, how you doing? How's everybody doing out there?
How you doing, everybody? How are you doing, Rich?
I'm good. How are you? How was your week?
Oh, a week like no other week.
Another fire hose of news week.
Oh my God.
Crazy stuff, man.
It just doesn't stop.
Yeah, we're going to focus a lot on all the newest, anyway, revelations on the Crossfire Hurricane crap, and who's in heap big doo-doo and who's not. Yeah.
Sounds like the pile of who is bigger than the pile of who isn't.
Yeah, really, it really is, man. It's getting amazing, because it's funny, because we've all been talking about this crap for what, like 6-8 years now? Yeah, 8 years, 9 years going on. And now it's all being justified, but you still have some of the top deep staters like Brennan. He's still out there said, "Oh, there's no question that there are Russians who are trying to interfere." Yeah, he's conflating two things. On one end, the Russians spent $150,000 on Facebook ads to praise and smear both candidates. Okay, so that is true. That is true, but it had no effect. It had no effect whatsoever. But then they use that to say, "Oh, well, everything we did was right because we know we had to go after Trump because we knew the Russians were working with him." It's all BS.
Yeah, and apparently there was a couple of no-name Russian hackers on their own, not government sponsored, that were just trying to dick with the system.
Oh, I know. All right, let's
see.
And
I don't know if they've really ascertained whether they were pushing Trump or not. But yeah, I mean, it was a couple of guys. Well, it was not.
Tulsi found some more evidence where it said that the Russians did not want Trump because they didn't know he was. They had no idea what he would do. They were kind of afraid of him. They felt, because like every other outlet here lied, like the New York Times, that she was a shoo-in, right? So they went and got some dirt on her, like real dirt, not like, Steele dossier dirt, but real dirt, in that she committed multiple crimes that they know of, and while Secretary of State as well, and that she has mental illness, like severe, like you hear today, you hear bipolar. Well, how many people were? No, she was like the queen of bipolar. They said that she had like severe anger issues, like at the drop of a hat, and then severe giddiness and gleefulness, and that she was on tranquilizers most of the time. And which makes sense, because at one time when they were trying to walk her out and she fell and her shoe came off, remember, and they just like tossed her in the car, the van, whatever the hell it was. So all that makes sense right now. So think about that. Had she won, right, we would have had another brain dead lunatic for 4 years, right, who was going to be blackmailed by Vladimir Putin. Let me say hi to people. 42. How are you, sir?
Not only blackmailed, but outpaced to the max.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, he would run circles around her mentally and physically, of course. But he would have had her in a complete.
They say she's really smart. No, she's not. She's really evil, and she has an entire universe behind her in the fake news media. Pam, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see, my sister Carrie Ann. What's up, Chris? You're here. Oh, that's right. You're driving down to the airport and get your wife. Yeah, good to see you, brother. Silver Spangle, I've never seen you before, but welcome. Let's see. Jimmy from Philly, my brother from the same mother. Let's see. Who else is here? What's up, Bass? Good to see you, man. All right. Yeah, we're going to have 42, and hopefully the other guys, if 42 wants to bring them along, they're more than welcome. The other two guys, Paka and Sensum, because I like all three of you guys. But we're going to have them on next week. And we're going to have some fun. All right. So make sure you don't miss next week. And
you know what, guys? You know what? And I know this to be a fact. That's our first Friday of the month on the second Friday of the month.
There you go.
I was saying first Friday of the month broadcast on the second Friday.
Confession. I wrote to 40 last night and I said, hey, you guys do last Saturday of the month. So we're going to do first Friday of the month. So next Friday. I got up today. I went, crap. It's the 1st of August and it's Friday. So I wrote him back and said, we're gonna change that name to second Friday of the month. So that's what it's going to be now, second Friday of the month.
It wasn't a time warp, folks. It
was my error was between my keyboard and my chair.
Yeah, it was just a glitch in the matrix, not a time warp.
All right, let's go over all that crap we're going to talk about. Let's see. Where the hell am I? There we are. Jabberhouse. All right, this guy, what is it? PBD? I forget his name. This guy
what a mug. Look at that face.
Yeah, well, he lived in Iran for the first 10 years of his life, and then his parents escaped. They came to the U.S., I believe, right away. He's been here ever since. He started getting into multi-marketing. He made millions doing that. I don't know whether he robbed people or whatever, but it was multi-marketing stuff. And he made a lot of money doing that. And so then he just created this YouTube channel. He's got like a gazillion subs. He gets all the best people. He's actually pretty good. He's very good to listen to. But this is killer, what he says. 2 days before Epstein died, he transferred $577 million. He gets into it. Then don't know if everybody here, if you're here, you probably know already. But the classified, the Durham report, the annex to that was revealed. Obama could face grand jury over Russiagate report. A lot of people are saying, because Trump said it, he said Obama will probably be protected by immunity. I don't think so, because if you read the lib nuts get it wrong every time they talk about it, right? It means he can murder someone, all right? Well, they broke it down into 3 sections. The last 2, no immunity. The first one that has immunity, they said that the president has to be acting in the capacity of president, and it has to be a presidential act. Like, in other words, it has to be in the setting that was set up to do a presidential act. Okay. I don't think that covers treason. So you're not doing an official presidential act if you're committing treason, and he committed treason for what he did. There's no other way to describe it. It's treason, because they have all the stuff. Now you know why they raided Mar-a-Lago, because on January 19th, 2021, one day before he left office, Trump declassified all those documents. I could show it to you. I've shown it here like multiple times, but he declassified everything with Crossfire Hurricane, and they wanted to know what he had. So luckily, he didn't have them on site when they got there, because a week before he was around, and he came home and he was told that there were FBI in the locked locker room. That they lied about that shit too. And he went over to say hi. Hey guys, how you doing? Shook their hands. Nice to meet you. Come on, what do you want? We'll let you do anything, right? And so he let them see everything. Well, they were still there when they left. They probably took pictures and whatnot, right? Because that's what they were after. They wanted to know what he had. And I am shocked that they didn't burn everything. Although Kash Patel says that we're going to talk about it tonight. He said that they found a treasure of the Crossfire Hurricane documents and all the communications where there's no way they can say they didn't know what they were doing, right? They were all in burn bags. Can you imagine? They forgot to burn the bags in the burn bags. So Trump's tariffs crushed the trade deficit, and the left is melting down because of it. This guy is great. I had a friend send this to me, and the top one as well. This is great. Irony. This guy talks about Americans are moving to Mexico, and the Mexicans are not happy about it. You got to watch that. It's great. We also found out that this week that Soros, why not, his ties to Russiagate were exposed in the annex, right? The declassified annex. And he funded it, just like everything else. He funded the whole Crossfire Hurricane thing for Hillary. And Tulsi Gabbard talks to Glenn Beck and says that she's surrounded by deep state hires, and the docs show who was direct. She's working around people who were directly involved in anti-Trump ops. Can you believe this shit? First of all, people go, "Oh yeah, well, okay, I did their job." No, it's not your job. It's not your job to go after a presidential candidate, no matter what party, and it's not your job to try to screw over a duly elected president. It's called treason. The second part. The first part, you're just screwing around with a candidate. But think about it. So Caroline Leavitt, she responds to newly declassified evidence that Hillary Clinton personally approved the Trump-Russia hoax and says President Trump wants to see justice served. Now, that's because, if you remember, in 2017, when they said, you're going to go after Hillary because they'll lock her up, right? Well, he said, I remember distinctly, he said, no, we're not going to do that because I think they've been through enough. Meaning the Clintons. Yeah, big mistake, because then she went out there and stabbed him in the back every minute she had. Kash, there's the one right here. Kash Patel finds thousands of Russia hoax documents in burn bags in a secret room, including the classified annex. They hid everything, but the dumbasses didn't think that this stuff would be found. FBI caught burying the smoking gun thumb drives, the ones that she didn't smash with a hammer, unreviewed info on Clinton email scandal for 6 years. Chuck Grassley, one of the greatest senators we have, because he is a hawk on government corruption, and he's real good for this. So Grassley demands Kash Patel review the materials ASAP. Then we got the whole fire hose of stuff up here, a lot of good stuff. Let's see, what are we going to do? Who else is here? Anybody new? Come in. Pekka, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Anglo, good to see you. Thanks for being here, guys. Very much. Now, guys, all of you, call your friends. Tell them, get in here. All right, let's get started. Let's watch this first. All right, let me pull it up.
2 days before he killed himself, allegedly, or committed suicide. You know what he did 2 days before he killed himself? Epstein's estate transferred $577 million into a trust he created 2 days before his death. And it was called the 1953 Trust. Why 1953? That's the year he was born. A little weird. 2 days before, kind of weird. Either you are like fully prepared, or it's a little weird. Remember how earlier we were talking about Bill Barr connection with the dad and all this other kind of little weird, Bill Barr, New York Times called him the ultimate cover-up general. New York Times called him that in 1992 when they were going through a complete different thing. Imagine Bill Barr's being called the cover-up general 33 years ago by New York Times. Damn! That kind of a reputation for this long. Bill Barr's role as Attorney General during Epstein is extremely significant. Yep. Why? Because some are calling this the ultimate potential intelligence cover-up. His background, past behavior in the context of Epstein's death led to many describing Barr as a CIA fixer or the guardian of the deep state. 2 days.
Crazy, huh? Absolutely crazy. A lot of people know Bill Barr. His father was somebody notorious as well. I think he had something to do either with the Mossad He had something to do with something crazy going on. Let me see. Let me look it up. And Bill Barr always tried to come up acting magnanimous, saying, "Oh, it's all bullshit that they stole the 2020." Ronald Barr was his name, an educator and a writer who taught English literature. Yeah. What else did he do? He wrote 2 science fiction novels. Yeah, that's right. He wrote a science fiction novel that I think was actually true. I'll do it another night, but it was actually true.
Now, if you want to extrapolate with absolutely no basis for this,
let's do it.
You could wonder, his transferring all that money might have been something that somebody would do before they ended their own life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but a lot of people now
I'm not taking that
alive.
Yeah, I'm not taking that position.
I am.
Because I don't know. There's too much confusion around the issue. I don't believe anything I hear about it. I don't believe Kash Patel. I don't believe the Democrats. I don't believe anything I hear about it now.
I don't either. All right, let's do the next one. Here we go. Whoops. Okay, the classified Durham annex is revealed. The Durham report, remember that? All that time to wait for it, he puts the report out and we don't see shit because they hid it. The Durham report.
Of course they hid it.
Yeah, the Biden people hid it right away. Well, it didn't matter. They did start, like, think about this. Everybody involved worked for Trump when he was president. Everybody in the executive branch works for the president. All right. It says so right in the Constitution, right? He's the guy that runs the executive branch. And so you had people in there that were working day and night to get him out of his job. And there's
they were working against him.
There's some working against him. There's some of them still there, as we're going to talk about later on. The Durham report on the Crossfire Hurricane investigation included an appendix or annex that was classified. Why would they classify an annex? It has been declassified at the request of Senator Chuck Grassley. And Grassley released, I love this guy. He released the materials earlier today. This was yesterday. You can read Grassley's press release here. We don't have to read it. Grassley's release is titled Newly Declassified Appendix to Durham Report Sheds Additional Light. This is like the story, but it's a headline. Sheds additional light on Clinton campaign plan to falsely tie Trump to Russia and FBI's failure to investigate. Gee, I wonder what it's about. His release summarizes some of the contents. They come in part from Russian intelligence communications evidently intercepted by our intelligence services. The Russians apparently got them by hacking into servers used by George Soros' Open Society Foundation. Great. The memos indicate that the Russian collusion hoax was hatched by the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign to just, I said this all along, to distract attention from her private email server scandal. Because a lot of people were not satisfied when Comey let her off the hook. No reasonable prosecutor. I remember it was like 15 prosecutors called in or wrote in and said, I would absolutely have tried that case.
Of course you should have.
Oh, yeah. The idea.
But here's the question. Here's the question.
Right.
Hillary's emails went missing. Mm-hmm. Where would you go look for them if you really needed them? Just go to the friggin' Russians. They've got them.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed the Russians got them.
Well, Comey said that they know that it was hacked, but they know that several like top tier enemies of the United States got in there. Russia had to be one of them. North Korea was in there. They had to be one of them. But I remember I think it was the second debate with her, and Trump said, he goes, where's your emails? And he goes, look, Mr. Putin, if you're listening, he goes, could you give us those emails like that? And the libnuts, like immediately the next day in freaking fake news, were like Trump has it in with Putin. He asked him to send that. Like they don't even know when a joke is being said and when their candidate is being totally face masked.
Well, they can't handle the fact that this is just another example. President Trump is the GOAT of trolling.
Oh yeah,
he is the complete and utter best ever specialist at trolling. He
Yeah.
knows. I mean, look, when he came out and he was saying, "Oh, I don't know. Maybe I should run again. Do you think I should run again? I don't know. They tell me I can't run again. Do you want me to run again?"
Yeah, he goes.
I
I
mean,
love when he comes out and he goes, "Some very smart lawyers say that I can." He
yeah,
does that all the
it's
time.
like, do
And
you
you know what-
people not? Can you people not see it? Can you people
the
not
beauty
see
of
what
it
he's
is-
doing?
But the beauty of it is, there's several layers here, Jade. Number one, he's showing what morons they are,
Yeah,
right? Because they fall for it every single time. But then they waste time. You know where he got that idea from? Because he was at this affected him because he talked about it, I think, more than anything else back then. He was at a dinner. It was a presidential dinner, and everybody got ice cream, and he got 2 scoops while everybody else got 1.
yeah.
Because he asked for a second scoop. All right. And so CNN does a story on that it's a scandal because the president got 2 scoops when everybody else. Well, I hate to break it to them, but the president paid for that food. Because did you know that presidents must pay for their own food? Did you know that?
I don't think I did.
They have people that do the shopping for them, but the president of the United States cannot be fed by taxpayer dollars directly. He has to buy his own food. That is true.
And besides that, he's the president. If he's
Right.
at a dinner and he wants 2 scoops of ice cream,
You know what he
he
said?
can frickin'.
You know what he said too? He goes, there was no rule. If somebody wanted 4 scoops, they would have given it to them. You
Yeah,
know,
he
but-
said, what did he say? He said, I just asked for another scoop. Anybody else could have asked for another
He's
scoop.
basically saying you could do it. Like there was no rule, right? So he learned that they're going to do a story on anything. that
Oh,
he
of
does,
course.
right? Like I always joked and said that if Donald Trump said, "Yeah, I paid the guy $1,000 for doing that for me. It was a good job." Well, CNN would come out and say, after an exhaustive review, we have learned that the guy, after taxes, only received $902. Therefore, Trump lied about paying him $1,000.
I mean, did you see the one? There was one about a tie, and I can't remember the exact color, but it was basically Trump said he had a red tie, but that was a lie. It was more like a light maroon.
Oh, I remember
It's
that.
like, oh my God, you people.
Yeah. And then it was a thing where they went to, was it over in Europe, I think, where everybody wore a black suit, but they had, I think, a blue tie, and he wore a red tie. So they zoomed in and they got all these people, and there he is, the only guy with a red tie, right? But when you zoom out of the picture and you see the full picture, there's a bunch of people with red ties on.
Yeah, it's not the red tie. It was the blue suit.
They just made shit up about him.
But there was a bunch of people with blue suits.
You're right. It was the blue suit.
It was the blue suit. And if
You're
you
right. That
zoomed
time was the
in,
blue suit. You're right. You're
if
right.
you zoomed in, it was, the people immediately around him in that crowd
Right.
had black suits.
But there were
if
tons
you
of other
backed
people
out,
around that were.
There were
dressed
lots of
the same way.
people, lots of guys had blue suits.
Yeah, they were dressed the same way. Let me get back to this. So the memos indicate that the Russian collusion hoax was hatched by the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign to distract from her private email server scandal. The idea, according to the memos, originated with foreign policy advisor Julianne Smith. It is notable that when reached by the New York Post, Smith declined to comment on today's document release. Why not? She's probably going to be subpoenaed. The documents further indicate that the Clinton campaign's plan dates to early 2016. Early 2016. The election's in November, right? 11 months later. Early. And that the FBI was aware of it because the Bureau opened the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. Here's one of several explosive excerpts. So it says, Julie says it will be a long-term affair to demonize Putin and Trump. Right there. Guys, right there. That right there. They set the whole damn thing up from the beginning. Now it is good for the post-convention bounce. Later, the FBI will put more oil into the fire. She's literally saying, we're using this for a bounce. We're going to demonize Trump with Putin. And then the FBI is going to break the law and help us. Outcome is far from clear as Americans are more keen on their own woes. And Hillary is hardly good looking as far as credibility is concerned. She got that right. Anyway, things are ghastly for U.S.-Russian relations. Right. So in other words, screw Russian relations. Because you got to remember, Barack Hussein, Milhouse, Benito, Obama kicked out all the Russian diplomats from the country as a way to say, shame on you. You cheated in this election, when they didn't. I mean, they had no effect whatsoever. In fact, they had less than an effect. They spent $150,000. They got nothing out of it. Right. They did it just to sow chaos. Right. And that's what the whole thing was with General Mike Flynn, Lieutenant General Mike Flynn, when he was going on vacation. They just finished the election. They won. He was going to be the new DNI, and he took his family to vacation to the Dominican Republic. And that's when Obama waited. He waited for everything to settle because they knew that Sergei, whatever his last name is, the Russian diplomat, the ambassador to D.C., knew that he was going to call Mike Flynn, because he wasn't going to call the Obama people because they're the ones that just did this. And they did call. And so he was unmasked later on. The phone call was unmasked. And it shows that they wrote down to the FBI that he made several phone calls. Well, he didn't make several phone calls for different reasons. It was because he didn't have his sat phone with him. He's on vacation, and he was in the Dominican Republic that had hardly any cell service. So it kept dropping the calls. So Sergei would call him back. Right? And he kept saying, I'm sorry. Well, basically what he said was to Sergei is, look, we're going to be in there very soon. Just give it a couple months. Don't do anything rash. We will bring your guys back. We know that it's all politics. And that was that. So we also know that it was Obama himself who unmasked that call, because the unmasking was not listed in the directory of unmasking. By law, you have to put every unmasking in there, except if the president of the United States does it. He does not have to go in there. So the very fact that that was the only one that wasn't in there tells you that Obama's the one that called for the unmasking, because they wanted to get him out of the way, because he used to work for Obama, and Obama fired him very publicly because he came out against several things, including the Iran nuclear deal. So this whole thing is BS from the very beginning. Guys, I stay up late at night reading this stuff because I've been waiting for this crap for a long time. Interesting that a week before the Crossfire Hurricane investigation was launched, Soros's operation believed it knew what the FBI was doing. From Leonardo Bernardo. Hi. HRC, Hillary Rodham Clinton, approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. Look at this. That should distract people from her own missing email, especially if the affair goes to Olympic level. The point is making the Russian play a U.S. domestic issue. Say something like a critical infrastructure. Remember, they kept saying it's a critical infrastructure threat for the election to feel menaced, since both POTUS and VPOTUS have acknowledged the fact IC would speed up searching for evidence that is regrettably still unavailable. Right, because they hid it. However, there seems to be signs GRU penetration, Acrylic 2.0 VPN, yada, yada, yada. They appear hardly skilled, incompetent, bumbling idiots, and SMB somebody called him. In absence of direct evidence, CrowdStrike, remember that name, and Threat Connect will supply the media, and GRU will hopefully carry on to give more facts. So CrowdStrike is the organization, that's the cyber forensics firm that did the forensics on the so-called Russian hacked server, which in these things they admit, yeah, the Russians never had anything to do with it. I think it was Seth Rich, personally myself. That's why they murdered him, because they knew that he's the one that copied the emails and gave them to WikiLeaks. But the thing is that CrowdStrike, okay, what was his name? Sean Davis? No, not Sean Davis. Sean, can't remember his last name. Anyway, I'll find it out later. But he was the president at the time of CrowdStrike. He was the deputy executive director of the FBI, and he was a protege of Robert Mueller. So when he's at CrowdStrike, they say, "Oh my God, WikiLeaks just dumped a firebomb on us with Hillary's emails and all kinds of notes and memos and stuff. We got to do something." So the FBI goes to the DNC. She refuses to let them. Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She refuses to let them. They're like the premier cyber forensics in the country at the time, right? They got more money than God at that point to do this stuff, and she's like turns them down. She then says, "We got a private company," which was CrowdStrike. So you know that Bob Mueller said, "Yeah, I know this guy in CrowdStrike. He used to work for me in the FBI. Why don't you call them? They'll do you right." Yeah, this whole thing, man, is crazy. All the incestuous BS going on. Uncle Bobbity, what's up, brother? Louis, good to see you, man. Pun, very funny. Linda Hunter, how you doing, girlfriend? Let me see who else is here. Rich, I wish you would do a better job explaining this. Just because there was proof of Hillary lying and Obama being aware of it from day one doesn't mean. Well, thank you for not calling me a bigot. Thank you, Bobbity. I appreciate that.
Did you see the next? Did you see the next?
Did he call me? Oh, there it is. No, I swear to God, I did not see that. Unbelievable. That's nice. Yeah. I was like, thank you for not calling me a bigot. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, well.
Hillary Rotten Clinton. Yeah, color me surprised again. Yeah. All right, next one. This is a good one too. Let's see. Barack Obama, conservative brief, which is actually pretty good. Let's go there. Obama could face grand jury over Russiagate. Now, even if nothing happens to him, it would be cosmic justice, which I always say. We're going to have to look at cosmic justice, which means that, okay, these people never go to prison. They just don't, right? And I seriously doubt we're going to put a former president in prison, even though those pricks on the left tried to do it to Trump with, what was it, 92 counts against him, 4 trials of lawfare, 92 counts, felonies, all of them. He didn't do one of them, right? So it would just be nice to have to him haul his ass in, and he has to spend millions of dollars on lawyers like they do, make the process the punishment for these pricks, because they're not going to stop it until they feel it. And I think, Jade, that's why Trump is following through with all this. He wants them to hurt the way they hurt him and other people. He wants them to feel it.
Yeah.
Right?
And, they've been doing this for years. And I've said this multiple times on our little show here. I honestly don't care that much what happens to any one particular individual.
Right.
But you need to take a stand and make sure that everybody knows. So you got to take a few and take them down the course. Now, whether they go to jail or not, hey, the fact is, if you spend the next 10 years prosecuting them and, halfway bankrupting them, that's fine with me.
Yep.
That's fine with me, because that's going to show that, that don't fly. That's what I want. Because everything is bullshit until we see indictments.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. Here we
Everything until somebody brings out the handcuffs, everything is pure whitewashed BS.
Yep.
That's it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
So I want to see people doing the perp walk, but you know what? I don't care if any one particular person.
I think Brennan will. Now, the next thing he'll do is he'll say he's working under executive privilege, which he's not, because he never got executive privilege because Obama thought he got away with it. You know what else pisses me off, guys? With this and with all the other shit that the Obama administration did, Obama repeatedly, after he left office, would give speeches and he would say, I'm paraphrasing, he would say, I am delighted that we had the type of administration where we didn't get bogged down and embarrassed by the types of scandals that usually do that. And I'm sitting there thinking, you son of a bitch, like, you were the worst of the worst until Biden came along, of course. But I mean, he had so many bad scandals in his administration, but he went around and the press like ate it up and said, oh yeah, he had no scandals. Wait a minute. He had no scandals.
They were saying,
what are you talking about?
They were saying he was the first scandal-free president in Washington.
Can you believe? So I know it's just unbelievable.
Boggles the mind.
All right, here we go. Just the News investigative journalist John Solomon, who I like a lot, stated he's the guy that broke the story of Russiagate. He's the one. All right, he used to work for the Hill. Then the Hill went total left wing, and so he created his own thing, Just the News. So Just the News investigative journalist John Solomon stated that former President Barack Obama can now be compelled to testify before a grand jury and cannot invoke the Fifth Amendment because of protections previously granted by presidential immunity. I would really argue against presidential immunity. You can't claim you're immune when you're doing treason. That's not part of a presidential act to do treason. I, as president, am committing treason. Yeah, well, show me where in the Constitution that allows you to do that. Once summoned before a grand jury, Obama would be required to testify under oath, Solomon said Wednesday evening. If he were to misrepresent or lie about any aspect of his official conduct, now this is great, his presidential immunity could be forfeited from the moment the falsehood is made. Oh, that's so good. That single act committed as a private citizen could unravel the legal protections he previously enjoyed under the Constitution and judicial precedent, Solomon insisted. This is great. On January 5th, 2017, then President Obama presided over a White House meeting where the FBI had just closed its investigation into incoming National Security Advisor Mike Flynn. According to Solomon, senior officials then crafted a plan, lure Flynn into an interview, catch him in a lie, and prosecute him for making false statements. Now, let me stop there. They prosecuted him, well, they were going to, for lying to the FBI, which is perjury. It's considered perjury, and it's like, was it 5 years per offense and $50,000 fine? So they said that he lied about talking to the Sergei, the Russian ambassador, on the phone about sanctions on Russia. Years later, when Trump is president, he declassifies the 302 document. The 302 document, when the FBI does an interview with someone, they, by law, they have to file a 302, which they write right after. Some do it during. But what it is while it's still fresh in your mind, you have to write everything. General Flynn farted, wanted to have a cigarette, told him he couldn't, said he had to piss. They'll write everything down that happened because it's fresh in your mind. And it's illegal to change it, which they did. Lisa Page, who was the lover of Peter Strzok, not his wife, she went in. She's the one that went in and actually edited the 302 that her lover wrote, which is a felony, and she should have gone to prison for that when they caught her, but they didn't because nobody does with a D next to their name. So in the end, they found out when they read the 302 declassified that not only did Flynn not lie to the FBI about sanctions talk with the Russian ambassador, they never asked him about it. The FBI charged him for lying about something they never asked him about because it's not in the 302 and it's not in the tape that they got to listen to. They never asked him. These people are just scum, pure scum. In fact, former FBI Director James Comey has admitted in open conversations in the past that he assisted in setting the trap, which has been confirmed through legal filings and other reporting. You know what? Jay, more than Obama, I would love to see that bastard go down.
Yeah, you just insulted scum, of course.
I know. I'm sorry, scum. I'm sorry. There's no scum in here, but
but just in general, scum out there.
Here? Is AJ here? Okay, he's not. All right, good. Let me see. I would have put this up if he was. Please do not feed the AJ. Okay. So let's see. I put that up for Jimmy. All right. Now Solomon cautions Obama could find himself facing a similar scenario, one he allegedly helped set in motion. Quote, I know President Trump has every right to be frustrated with him. I think President Trump's analysis last week was right. I think my immunity rule might protect him on the original charges. That's what he said on Real America's Voice. Quote, that's what most legal experts tell me. I'm not a lawyer, and I still think they're wrong because you can't have presidential immunity. Is not to say, see, they think immunity means you could kill someone and you're immune. No, that's not what it's for. What it's for is to protect a sitting president to be able to govern. Otherwise, the opposing party, which always seemed to be Democrats, the opposing party would do all kinds of shit, which they do to Trump, to try to stop him from being able to govern. That's what the immunity was for. All right. But they're trying to make it look like, committing treason, he has immunity. No, he doesn't. If you committed a real crime, you don't have immunity because you can't commit a crime in the act of a president. And see, they made that clear, too, because the Supreme Court said that if the president had to make a decision to kill an American because of national security concerns, this is all hypothetical. Why they even went there, I don't know. But they said, yes, it covers it. But that's because the president was doing something for national security. How is committing treason doing so? He'll say, well, we thought that it was a credible. Well, no, you didn't, because we have all the notes now saying that you knew it was bullshit from the beginning. So he continues. He cannot take the Fifth Amendment because he has immunity from prosecution. He'll have to tell the truth. If he lies, private citizen. We already read that part. And that is a trap that Obama is potentially facing. I want to say the irony of that is significant because on January 17th, he presided over the meeting, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so they went through all that. We don't have to play it. But that's
Okay,
great
so
news.
let's see if I've got this right. He either does or he does not have presidential immunity. If he does have presidential immunity, he has to tell the truth and lay it on the line.
Yes.
He's not allowed to take
Or he
the
loses
hit.
everything.
If he does not have presidential immunity, they can take all the evidence and put it up against him. So, I mean, this is quite the trap they pushed him into.
Yeah. Excuse me. Sensum, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that very much. Let me see. How's those blue jeans hang?
Well, listen, you bigot, don't you know it's not fair to be a pretty woman if you're white anymore?
There you go. I heard that too. We got the crazies coming out. Yeah, we got the crazies coming out, man.
Man, did they just like ooze out of the muck or just
Did you watch my video on Cory Booker? Holy mackerel.
I think so.
Yeah, there's one out today that I forget who sent it to me. Maybe Lou did, but somebody sent it to me. But it was him on like up there talking, but they completely dubbed over. It was funny as hell. I don't know if I'm allowed to play it though, because it's cursing.
Yeah, don't play anything that you're worried about.
Yeah. Sensum, you Pack and 40 are invited next week to come on. You guys will. All right. Thanks, Lou. Yeah, you guys will. You'll do whatever you want. Actually, I'm going to give you the floor because you guys have been so nice to me. You'll either read one of your. It's going to be like your last Saturday, but this is going to be second Friday for us, right? And you can read whatever funny, goofy, crazy stories you want, or you can just do your own thing. Each one of you will have your time, and you'll do your own thing. It's going to be great because it's always great when we're on your show doing that.
Yeah. So next week,
Friday.
Next week.
Yeah.
For 40 and for Sensum. Next week, we're doing the first Friday of the month,
It'll be the
except
second
it's
week.
on the second Friday of the month.
Yeah,
Don't look. You know what?
Don't look into it. It's not difficult.
Do you remember the Wizard of Oz? Don't look behind the curtain.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I was thinking of changing the name to second Friday of the week, but then I gave myself up and said, like a dumbass yesterday, I didn't realize that today was the first Friday. So maybe we'll keep it as first Friday. Just the first time it'll be the second Friday. All right, let's go to the next one. Yeah, this is good news too. Well, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play the video first. We got a great video here. Hold on. What I hate about Facebook is when you got these videos, right? They always, I don't know how to start them off with the volume, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so what happens is you're halfway through the video before, where the hell is it? Because sometimes it's up left, sometimes. All right, so let me bring it up. This is pretty good. Tell me about the irony here. Ready? Let's go.
So I guess.
Here we go.
So I guess Mexico is having a couple of problems. Apparently, a bunch of Americans have been moving down to Mexico City the past couple of years and have been living out of like Airbnbs. Just because it's a lot cheaper than living in the U.S. And the Mexicans are not happy about this, which is
really
incredibly ironic. But they've got to the point where they're protesting. It's become violent, apparently. They're writing "Kill a Gringo" on the wall, and they got hundreds of people showing up to these protests. So I just thought it would be fun to look over some of their protesting signs. So we'll start with this one. Spanish is spoken here. Gringos, stop stealing our home. Fucking gringos. Tourists, go home. Tourists, go home. You are not welcome. Mexico for Mexicans. Pay taxes, learn Spanish, respect my culture.
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently that's a completely normal feeling to have, to not want people to come into your country and fuck up the shit that you already got going on, to want people to assimilate to how you already live. That's a completely normal feeling, and you shouldn't be made to feel like a piece of shit by other people in your country or your government.
So, gosh, Dr. J, where have we heard that before?
Gosh.
I don't understand.
Gosh, I tell you what, I'll make them a deal. We'll take ours back if you take yours back.
Yeah, really. Well, you know, the majority of them are not from Mexico that have come in under Biden. They're from further down because,
Oh, well, actually, yeah, there's a lot of them from China, I guess.
well, yeah. So I wonder how they walked across the border from China, right? A lot of them for Haiti. I don't think we have a road to Haiti that they could walk on, right?
You're not allowed to ask that, you bigot.
I know.
You're a bigot if you ask
Crazy
that.
stuff, right? But no, because most Mexicans that went to school, they speak English. Some speak much better than others, just like we speak Spanish. Some are better than others, right? Because their schools say, look, we're on the border of the richest country in the world. You might want to learn how to speak their language. So they all do.
Yeah.
So the ones that come up and the entire family doesn't speak it, they're not from Mexico. You can pretty much place that bet. But
Yeah, they come from further down in Latin America. They come from overseas. They come from all kinds of countries. We've got, do you know how many Afghanis and Turkmenistans and
oh yeah, I do.
Chinese? I mean, I don't got the numbers, but we got lots.
Oh yeah, well they're up to 42,000 middle or 42,000 Chinese men who are of soldier age that came in the last 4 years under Biden.
Oh, and
what the hell were they doing?
You know James O'Keefe? You know
What's
James
up,
O'Keefe?
Yeah.
You know James O'Keefe. He did it. He did a spot, was kind of funny. He got an Osama bin Laden mask, like a latex mask.
Right.
He went down to Mexico and came back on foot with a bunch of people coming over wearing a bin Laden mask.
Wow.
It was funny.
I thought it was bin Laden.
Bin Laden. You're probably right. What do I care?
Yeah, he's dead.
I'm sorry. I really don't care about that man's name.
He's dead. Either that or he owns a 7-Eleven in Cincinnati. I don't know.
Yeah. I thought it was Philadelphia, but one way or the other.
The next one. Here, we'll talk about the Soros ties now. Yeah.
Isn't he behind everything?
Yeah, he is. He really is. Soros' alleged ties to Russiagate exposed in declassified annex of the Durham report. So let me boost this up. So the credible foreign sources indicating the FBI and the Obama administration would play a role in spreading the salacious Trump-Russian narrative before the Bureau ever launched its probe were allegedly tied to George Soros' Open Society Foundation. That's the big foundation that he funds a million other leftist organizations through. According to an explosive document declassified Thursday morning, the appendix to former special counsel John Durham's report released by the Senate Judiciary Committee sheds stunning light on what Chairman Chuck Grassley describes as one of the biggest political scandals and cover-ups in American history. Now, guys, there's something else we're not like talking about. Nobody's talking about. Like everybody thought, John Durham, what a waste of money and all that. He didn't give a shit, right? Well, the fact of the matter is he did, but he didn't have the right to A, talk about it outside of it being released, and B, they hit it on him. So imagine he's going around for 4 solid years saying, you know what, I did my job. Shut up, bigot, right? But here he did do his job because he's got a lot of stuff in there. CIA Director John Ratcliffe, who I like a lot, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, FBI Director Patel, and Pam Bondi worked in coordination to declassify the information. Well, she did something right. Before its official release, sources exclusively briefed Fox News Digital on some of the contents of the appendix, including that the U.S. intelligence community had credible foreign sources indicating that the FBI would play a role in spreading the salacious Trump-Russia collusion narrative before the Bureau ever launched its controversial Crossfire Hurricane probe. Now, who was it? It was what country was that? Do you remember, Jade? It was a country you'd be like, wait a minute, why would they have that kind? It was something like Croatia or some crazy country that you would never think they had.
Not sure what you're getting at, Rich.
I'm sorry, what I just read. There was a foreign source that indicated that the FBI would play a role in spreading the Trump-Russia narrative before the Bureau even launched Crossfire Hurricane. I think it was like Croatia or some. Maybe we'll get into it. Who knows? A source familiar with the contents of the classified appendix told Fox News Digital that while it may not have been exactly clear in the moment what the intelligence collection meant, with the benefit of hindsight, it predicted the FBI's next move with alarming specificity. It's right. That country knew because they were spying on Russia, and Russia had the information from someone else. We'll get into that. The appendix reveals that foreign sources were allegedly tied to George Soros's Open Society Foundations. The appendix said that Russian government actors in 2016 reportedly hacked emails from Open Society, formerly known as the Soros Foundation. There's the emails, right? We don't have to go over them. Quote, 2 of the apparently hacked emails appear to have originated from the Open Society Foundations, the appendix states, noting that the purported author of these emails was Leonard Bernardo, who was the regional director for Eurasia at the Open Society Foundation. This George Soros has got to go. During the first stage of the campaign, due to lack of direct evidence, it was decided to disseminate the necessary information through the FBI-affiliated technical structures, in particular, the CrowdStrike and Threat Connect. We're back to that again. Let's say the media analysis on the DNC hacking appears solid. Julie, campaign advisor for Clinton, says it will be a long-term affair, right? In other words, they were saying, yeah, well, like here, they hand it off to Comey, and they say, do your best with it, buddy. Thanks, man. We worked together for 4 years. Thanks, dude. Right? And then he does. And then there people go, oh, wow, this was confirmed by the FBI director. It's like when Andy McCabe sent a story to the press, and the press wrote it, and then he used that article to put in for his FISA warrant application. What? That's just how they behave. They're scum. Another email reportedly from Bernardo states Hillary Clinton approved the idea of the Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. This should distract people from her own missing email. Yeah, we already read this in the last one. I'm looking for new stuff. Durham's appendix states the Clinton campaign might have wanted or expected the FBI or other agencies to aid that effort, put more oil on the fire by commencing formal investigations of the DNC hack. And yet, they didn't let the FBI in. And then later on, I remember, how do I remember this? It was like 4 or 5 years ago when the FBI went to her and said, we want to look at it. She said, no, you do not have the right to look at it. Technically, they did. If she's claiming national security, they had every right in the world to take it, but they didn't because of who she was. Because they thought Hillary was going to become president, and they wanted their jobs. They wanted to keep their jobs, right? Because she would have fired anybody that hack, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, told them to fire, right? So they let it go. But then she goes on to Fox News, and they said, well, what's up with that? Like, what happened with the FBI? And she basically went on this rant saying, we're one of the top 2 political parties in America for over 100 years. And you would think that the FBI would be a little concerned to send someone to look at our server because it was hacked by the Russians. And then the special agent in charge came out and responded to an inquiry from Fox and said, no, we went out twice. And she turned us down both times. So so Brett Baer brought that up to her the next time she was on. She knew what he's talking about. And I was hoping Brett would say, well, we have this special agent right here. Why don't you come on? That would have been great. But they're just all a bunch of freaking liars, every one of them. You can't trust a damn thing they say. All right, so this is done. Special K, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Let's see who else. Chris is here. Let's see. All right, let's go back. Next one. Caroline Levitt. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So here we go. Yeah, I like her a lot. She's so young, and yet she can handle herself really well in front of these people. Caroline Levitt responds to newly declassified evidence that Hillary Clinton personally approved Trump-Russia hoax, says President Trump wants to see justice. Let's get to the video. Skip all this.
I'd like to start with our new media chief, Ben Weingarten. Why don't you go ahead, Ben?
Thank you. In light of the release, the declassification of the annex to the Durham report today, beyond any potential prosecutions, the outcomes of which will likely be uncertain, what does the president believe justice for Russiagate ought to entail? Might it include restitution for those whose lives were upended as a consequence of Russiagate, and perhaps a major reorganization of the national security apparatus?
Well, I think a major organization of the national security apparatus, at least here at the White House within the National Security Council, has indeed taken place, and the president entrusts his current CIA director, John Ratcliffe, and our ODNI director, Tulsi Gabbard, to make the necessary changes to ensure classified intelligence, especially that could implement or hurt the national security of our country does not make its way into the hands of irresponsible actors who want to politicize that intelligence for their own end. Since you brought up the declassification report that was put out by Senator Grassley today, I'm glad you brought it up, because this should be a story every outlet in this room should be covering. This is further evidence that Hillary Clinton approved the Russia hoax against President Trump. Her campaign financed it. Again, she approved it. And the FBI and the CIA were both weaponized to, as our director of CIA has said, accelerate this hoax against then candidate and former President Trump. To answer the heart of your question, the president wants to see justice served, and he trusts the Attorney General and the Department of Justice to implement that justice and hold these people accountable.
Awesome. Awesome. So
Let's
now,
get it done. Let's
get it
done.
Right. So now officially it's been said by the White House, Hillary Clinton officially is a suspect, because now we know that she's the one who pushed it. No indictments for you. Yeah. This needs more than retraining. It needs indictment. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's coming. I don't think Trump's letting her go this time. He made a huge mistake.
Like I said earlier, for anyone who wasn't here for me saying it, it's all bullshit until we see indictments.
Right. Right. It's like the old, well, if you don't have a picture, it never happened. Same thing. If you don't have indictments,
basically,
then that's that.
It's just noise until
they
you have
can keep
handcuffs.
sending criminal referrals all they want, if they don't come out. But now Bongino did send that tweet out. And oh, by the way, my X account got hacked. So they changed the password, and they changed the email address to an email that doesn't exist. That way nobody can send it, send a thing out to change, to get the link to change it again. So I filed the claim, the report, right? And so I tell them everything. I took screenshot. I'm like, look, I'm doing all this here. I did it for my RPW media account, but for my personal account, I didn't, but I never thought about it. When you do the authenticator, you can use Google Authenticator. There's other ones. And that way they send you the code, and you can just look it up on the app and put the code in. That's the way they can't hack you again. Well, I didn't do it for that account. There is no way to get in there without having that authenticator, because it has a link that says, find another way. So, and it goes, all right, well, give us the long-term code that we gave you. Well, they give you that when you sign up for the authenticator. So if I didn't have the authenticator, there's no other way to get in there. So what happens? I finally get their support. They write me back. They go, thank you for reaching out to us. We're sorry this is happening. However, we did an investigation. We see that you have full control of your account again. I write back. I go, I don't have control at all. I can't get in. And I sent screenshots saying these are the errors that I'm getting and all that. Oh, wow. Mark just sent me a YouTube link. The guy that we bring in a lot to interview. Oh, Gabe Sterling calls voters dumbasses. Gabe Sterling is a big deal down in Georgia in Republican politics. So HRC will say, what's it matter? Yeah, what difference does it make anyway? That's what she'll say. Yeah, she is just, my God, she's a scumbag, no matter what way you look at it.
And you just insulted scumbags.
Again. Well, I did it earlier, so I guess I could do it again.
You're on a roll.
I know, I am. So let's see. Kash Patel finds thousands of Russia hoax documents in burn bags. Guys, those are the bags they're supposed to put them in the incinerator. They don't shred them because you could put them together technically. All right. They're in burn bags. Here, they put them in the burn bags. They forgot to burn them. Dumbasses, right? In a secret room. It's like they probably, move the painting aside and there's a door in a secret room.
Yeah, are we talking Hogwarts here or what?
Yeah, really. FBI, let me bring it up. FBI Director Kash Patel found thousands of Russian collusion hoax documents in burn bags. We would have lost it forever then if they'd have done that. They'd have burned it in a secret room at the FBI. Fox News reported one of the documents in the burn bags included the classified annex of the John Durham report that includes the underlying intelligence he investigated. That's the whole thing that could put some people in prison. CIA Director John Ratcliffe is expected to declassify the annex to Durham's final report and send it to Chuck Grist. I think he already did. When was this written? It was written 2 days ago. Things move fast. So Fox News also reported that Kash Patel and his team of investigators discovered a previously undisclosed skiff at the FBI headquarters. So in other words, The Dems created a skiff, and they never told anyone. How's that? Was it secret special compartment information? I forget what SCIF stands for, but that's a small room that you go in, and you can't take any data out of it, but you can go in and read classified documents if you have the permission to go in there, if you have the clearance to go in, right? That's the one.
You're not allowed. You're not allowed to have anything on you when you go in there. You can't have your phone. You can't have
right.
Any
Can't record anything.
Media. You can't have anything.
Yeah, but what's the guy? What was his name? Blumenthal. Yeah, Sidney Blumenthal. That was his name. He worked for Clinton. Okay, and he was a lawyer that worked for Clinton administration, and it was at the time after 9/11, right? And I'll never forget this. These people are just scumbags. So at the time of 9/11, when they were going to do the 9/11 commission, and they feared that they were going to get data from past administrations to see what led up to 9/11. Well, there was data in the records that showed that Bill Clinton was pretty lax on terrorism. He had a terroristic bombing. Okay. And believe it or not, that whole the federal building in Oklahoma, the Murrell building, whatever it was called, that was whatever his name was. Oh hell, I can't remember his name now. But the two people that blew up that building, right? Well, it was actually Jana Davis, who's an investigative reporter. She wrote a book called The Third Terrorist. All right, and it was actually Saddam Hussein was behind all that. He financed it. He had there are photographs that she found of Timothy McVeigh. That's it. It was Timothy McVeigh and the other guy, his partner. But Timothy McVeigh, yeah, thank you, Anglo. Timothy McVeigh was he was seen with Republican Guard people in the parking lot of motels in the United States. They were having meetings, right? The whole plot, what she discovered, she like an award-winning investigative journalist, which means she knows what she's doing, right? So what she found out is that Saddam was upset that I think it was like 3 million of his people died in the war. And so he wanted to get with Bush's war. Or actually, no, it was the war before that. There was like we killed like 3 million people, and he wanted to get 10% of that, right? And so he was financing bombings around the world, but at U.S. embassies, and then he did this one here. And in fact, one of the terrorists, one of the Republican Guard terrorists that was in on it, he actually stayed here, bought a house, and lives in Connecticut. So she names him in the book. So he sues her because of all the media press he got on. He sues her. And in court, the judge said, well, I'm sorry, but she just proved you're the guy. And he said, and I'm going to put in for federal officers to come and detain you, the federal marshals. We're going to hold you here until. So the guy takes her to court saying, it's not me. I just have the same name. We all look alike to these white people, you know. And here she came in with all her evidence and proved, yeah, you're the guy. You're the guy that was involved in it. So there was so much to that story. I read the book and I was fascinated by the shit that they did.
That's called a self-own.
Yeah, well, here's what happened, guys. So that day that the federal building was blown up, okay, that was the day that the government contracts come out for the construction workers, right? So what happens is a bunch of illegals hang out outside the federal building because when the contractors come out with their contracts, they know they're going to get paid this money. And so they go over and they go, all right, who wants to work? And they fill up the backs of their trucks, their pickup trucks, until nobody can go in. Then they drive off. So he says he's walking down the street, this illegal alien. He's walking down the street and he wants to go to the contract thing. He sees these two Arab men come running like hell out of the parking lot, the underground parking lot. They get into on the street. There's a brown pickup truck. They get into the pickup truck and haul ass, and boom, the thing explodes. Okay. So in the rubble, a little while later, he's walking through the rubble, see if he can help people. And he sees a woman who looks like she probably speaks Spanish. She's a doctor, though, and she's from the federal building. Okay. And she's trying to treat people. And he goes over in Spanish and he says to her, ma'am, he goes, I saw something that I think the FBI would want to see. and she's like working. She goes, look, they're over there. Tell him. He goes, I'm sorry, I'm here legally. I'm afraid that they might deport me. She goes, then you got a choice to make, because she couldn't help. She was treating someone, right? So he goes over and he tells the FBI about the brown pickup truck and the 2 Arab males. So the Clintons, not obviously, they deport him because they didn't want him talking, right? So the FBI takes that hint and immediately goes and tells Milton the Monster, what was her name? Janet Reno. She was the attorney general at the time. Tells her, she puts out an APB for 2 Arab males driving in a brown pickup truck. So the next scene you see is it's like an hour later, and all the news is at a press conference that she's giving. And the president, Clinton, he's supposed to come down and talk, but while she was just there, they kept asking her, so what about, the all points bulletin on the brown? She goes, I can neither confirm nor deny that there was ever an all points bulletin for that. And they were like, wait a minute, you put it out. She goes, I can neither confirm nor deny. Here later on, some people that were in the room knew that Bill Clinton didn't want to be known as the first American president with Arab terrorists attacking the United States on our soil. And so he literally quelled the APB and said, deny, deny, deny. So they went after McVeigh because McVeigh was involved. But then they say that the Republican Guard people said, look, if you guys get caught when we do this and you tell anyone, we kill your families. We know who they are. Want to see our dossiers on them? And so that's why McVeigh said, I don't want to do appeals. Just execute me now. Remember that?
I do.
He said that, and that's why he said it. FBI and ATF dressed as a guy. Yeah. That would make sense. Now, from what we know, right? Brought to you from the desk of David Copperfield. Yeah, exactly. I will make this building look like it was blown up, right? So we got through that.
Okay, so the only thing that bothers me about this whole thing,
right,
is that we've had a real break in trust. I'm not saying that I necessarily am calling Kash Patel out, but I'm not real comfortable believing most anything right now that Bondi and Patel put out.
Oh, I know.
And I think this is a little convenient for me. So what does anybody think? Does anybody think this could be a dirty trick, just like the Democrats have been doing for 60 years?
Right. Yeah, Ruby Ridge.
It's possible.
Right.
It's possible. They could have made this up out of whole cloth.
Right. Oh, yeah.
The Democrats did it. The Democrats did it. I'm not saying that I believe that.
Right.
I'm not saying, please, everybody. But I just have a problem with Bondi and Kash Patel right now. And so I'm second guessing what they're putting out.
Yeah. Well, Patel, not so much. Bondi, yeah. I think Bondi is the one, because she's the one that has to make the final decision. She has to listen to Trump. And even though Trump tries not to get involved, but sometimes he has to. So I don't know. Yeah, Ruby Ridge, man, that's another one. From what I understand, that was when the Bob Mueller crap started. And it wasn't Bob Mueller that did it, but the Ruby Ridge thing was they wanted to use the guy, the white separatist, right? They wanted to use him. I forget his name, but they wanted to use him to go after some drug dealers down the way. And so this guy wanted to live by himself, and he had a business. And one of the things they did is they palled up. They got one of their informants to pal up with them. And the guy asked him, like, they hung out a lot, became friends. And then he asked him, hey, can you do me a favor, saw this shotgun down? And he goes, to what? And he told him the inch, and he goes, no, I can't. He goes, that's against the law. You can't do that. And so, yeah, Randy Weaver, thank you. And that's why I love you guys, man. You guys know all of it that I forgot 20 years ago. So what happens is he keeps saying, come on, man, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm not going to wait. You're not going to do it for a friend. They're drinking beers. And so he finally talks him into doing it. And he goes, oh, now you're under arrest. Talk about entrapment, right? So they go to arrest him, right? Well, I'm not going to get into what happened. Everybody knows the family was slaughtered, all that, right? Baby and everything. So, but that was the beginning of the FBI saying, show us a man and we'll give you a crime, right? That's what they were doing. Yeah, and that's when,
show me the man and I'll show you the crime.
Exactly. But what Bob Mueller brought to it when he became FBI director was he was the one that did the perjury trap. He's the one that what they would do under Mueller. And this is just so fucking Soviet Union like LeBlanc or whatever it's called, LeBlanc or whatever that building that KGB was in. Well, what he would do is he'd say, okay, we want you here at 7:00 in the morning for an interview. Okay, you come in, want some coffee? Yeah, here you go. All right, we're going to ask you a series of questions. They'd ask him about 50 questions. They're recording it. They know what he's going to answer, right? And so then the guy, we're going to take a break for lunch. So you got a half hour, come back, you need more time, ask us, you can do it. Just get something to eat, relax. So they bring him back and they ask him another series of questions, the exact same questions, but they're in a different order. Okay. So then they bring him in a third time around 4:00 in the afternoon. Again, ask him the exact same questions, but they're worded differently. Same question, but worded differently. Then they come back at around 7:00 at night. You've been there 12 hours. And they come in and go, look, we had a good day, didn't we? But we have a problem here. We asked you something at 7:00 in the morning, and at 7:00 tonight, we asked you the exact same question. You gave us a different answer. We think you lied. We don't know whether it was here or here, but that's perjury. And we gave you your rights. We told you that if you lie to an FBI agent, that is perjury and it's worth 5 years. We can make it go away. Give us everything you know on Trump, or give us everything you know on whatever. That's what they started doing. They would threaten you. They would get you in this perjury trap that anybody could fall for, right? Anybody could, 12 hours, you're tired. You had one break, right? Drinking coffee to keep you awake and shit, and all this bullshit. That's what Bob Mueller brought to the table. And so what I'm saying is the FBI went bad all those years ago. Ruby Ridge, that was a Clinton thing. The whole David Koresh, that whole thing, I contend to you that the David Koresh bullshit was because there was a magazine that came out, the American Spectator, came out with an article called His Cheating Heart. And it was about Bill Clinton with the hookers in Arkansas, and his state troopers acted as his pimps, his bodyguards, the state trooper bodyguards, they acted as pimps for him. And when he was running for president, he told his entire cabinet and everybody working there, the important people, he said, look, if we get elected, we're going to bring all of you up to Washington. That meant higher pay, better pensions, more prestigious lines of work, right? More spotlight, jobs afterwards galore after you're done the years at the White House, all that shit. So he brought everybody up except the 3 bodyguards. He didn't bring them up. He forgot about them. So they started talking, and they did an article on it. And they said, look, we used to bring women in the back door for him. We used to have this one room at this lodge that was for the governor, and we would hide they said, we're going to start talking about a lot of stuff we have if he doesn't bring us up. So next thing you know, this David Koresh thing happens, right? And I watched an episode of Law and Order one time, and there was all these women were being raped and then murdered, right? But the cops are like, these women have nothing in common. One woman lives on this borough, another one all the way across in the other. One is a librarian, the other one's a nurse, the other one is a bookkeeper. They have nothing in common, but they did. The thing in common was they all went to the same dentist, right? So they're like, oh, okay, find this out. Now they're finding out, okay. So what happens here? All of a sudden, there were 3 Arkansas state troopers that were immediately promoted to the ATF, right? So they then, by the luck of the draw, all 3 of them get sent to the David Koresh compound to handle that, right? On the day of the fire and penetrating the house and all that, right? What happens? You can't just show up there and say, I'm going to take that window. No, there's a plan, right? All 3 of these poor some bitches, they were on the roof that went into the window. Do you remember, everyone here? Do you remember? Think back. ABC News played the clip, and you had 3 officers go through the window, and no sooner were they through it that the 4th one fired an automatic weapon and threw a hand grenade in and dropped down, and boom. Okay? All 3 of those police officers that went in the window, they were the 3 state troopers from Arkansas. So we watched a murder, but they didn't. The press never picked up on it. I don't think the press suppressed it. I think they just didn't pick up on it. But there was a guy named Michael Kellett who wrote a book about it, and he told all of what happened. And I believe that. But I'm saying even back then, the FBI was completely fucked. They were
Oh yeah.
they were completely destroyed, compromised, if you will.
So
Even
I
back
saw
then.
I saw a meme this week. I saw a meme, and
Did you
the
really?
title of the oh, stop it. The title of the meme is "The Last Thing a Whistleblower Sees," and the picture was a close up of Hillary and Bill.
Oh yeah.
The last thing the whistleblower sees.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you want to give these fine people a quick breather? We can do a quick
Dr. J moment?
We could do a quick
Are you ready
moment.
for
I haven't seen anybody call for it, but it's not much.
Are you ready for it?
It's not much.
I'm gonna run.
If everybody wants a little Dr. Jade moment, we could do that.
Okay, here we go.
It's a Dr. Jade moment.
There you go. It's all yours.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about relationships. Because an interesting thing happened this week. Tuesday was our anniversary.
Oh, congrats.
Tuesday. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Bob. Tuesday was our anniversary. We are now married 36 years.
Wow. That's a long time.
36 years. Count them, children. My goodness. That came to me and it was like, you start counting them, you go through the fingers, you go through the toes, and you start running out. You get a piece of paper and you start making marks.
Yeah.
And we have been married for 36 years. There's been some ups and downs, of course, like anybody. But I think at all moments, we have always been dedicated to each other. And I think that is an important thing because nothing, and thank you, Bobbity, nothing and no one is perfect, except me, of course, but that goes without saying. I beat you to it. But yeah, so, there are ups and downs in this life, but, the thing is, I only ever wanted to do this once. And I think a lot of people go into things with a bit of a wrong think. And, Jim and I are just, we always enjoyed each other as individuals, as people. His name is James, by the way, in case anybody wanted to know. You have to enjoy each other as people, as human beings, as individuals. And you have to understand that people aren't perfect. And God knows we've had our, medical problems. And we've had, I've only done it once, the actual marriage thing.
Yeah.
Don't ask about the rest of my history, but the marriage thing I've only done once. The thing is, you really have to appreciate each other, and when somebody's down and complete each other, and to be there for each other and to really uphold. And it isn't a competition. It's not a competition, guys. And I don't know, Jim and I have something that I think a lot of people don't have. I guess a lot of people do as well, but there has never been. I see couples, and somebody does something, and their partner can be like, "Are you actually jealous?" Like, no. Why? No. The thing is, a family is a unit. Okay, the family is always there for each other.
Right.
And I personally can't think of anybody I would want to see the apocalypse through besides Jim.
Good.
And he has said the same to me.
Good.
It's a very interesting, it has to be something that you accept who you are, you accept who the other person is. And for us, it's been 36 years. And, that's just, I think, pretty amazing because
It
I
is.
can remember the
The only
day
thing
we
I've done
got
for 36 years is lived. Go ahead.
I can remember the day we got married in a little United Church in a little small town on the East Coast. And I can remember, and it's not that I didn't think it would last, but it's like as time went on, it was, wow, I don't know if I expected it to last. It's just, and Jimmy, you're right. You also have to be able to put up with your partner's BS sometimes.
Yeah.
That's part of it because we all go off on things. But yeah, I can remember the initial thoughts I have coming out of the marriage, not coming out of the marriage, but coming out of the wedding, and then eventually I'm thinking, wow, this looks like it's going to last,
What do you
And-
know?
and it's not that we didn't think it was going to, but it did. I think it was not even a question that crossed my mind that, oh, well, you're getting married. You're going to be married for 36 or 40 years. No, it just, oh, wow. I never figured, wow, did I realize this was going to last? But here I am, 36 years later. We are married.
Good.
With no significant deficiencies in our relationship. And I expect that we are going to be staying together, and after this time, length of time together, I guess we got it right. I don't know. I thought that was something. I after my anniversary, I just got to thinking about it, and I just wanted to put some
And
words.
we are
that
better
weren't
off for you saying it because it was pretty good.
I wanted to put some
Dr.
words.
Jade moment. Now you have to live up to these from now on.
Oh Lord, Lord God, give me strength and give me inspiration. But I wish all the best out there for anyone else who is in a relationship or their second or third or fourth marriage, whatever it is.
Yep.
I guess I have to say, there's a little bit. I really hate to say this. It's not luck. We were drawn together, and it just, yeah, we complement each other. Well, yeah.
Tuna casserole again.
Yeah, you got to put on you got to put on a white singlet to do that, though. Anyway, everybody, that's my rant for today. I think I gave us a couple of minutes away from the politics.
That's all right.
And
We could use it.
I'm feeling pretty good about the whole thing. I hope everybody else can feel good about their relationships. And let's move on, Rich.
All right, here we go. Let's see the next one. I think we're done with those. Let's go. I'm not gonna read the last. All right, so hold on. Let me find a video. That's good. Mayoral candidate, Mamdani, Lee Zeldin. I didn't mark them for videos this week. What a dumbass. All right. Oh, let's do this one. Mike Pompeo. I call him Mike Pompous. What a piece of crap he is. Here you go. Chilling new info shows just how deep state Mike Pompeo is. I haven't read this yet, but let me say what I think he's a scumbag for. There's a woman named Gina Haspel. She ran from CIA. She ran the operation in London against George Papadopoulos and also Carter Page and a couple of other people to give the FBI a reason to be able to get a FISA warrant on someone. They got it on Papadopoulos and Page. And the reason why is because of the two-hop rule. So if the two-hop rule says that if you have, like, for example, they got it on Carter Page, who did absolutely nothing wrong. But he was a guy that traveled to Russia because he had business there. He did business in Russia, right? With the United States. And Also, because the two-hop rule said, well, now anybody that talks to that person, to the target, we can also spy on them. And since he was someone that was in the Trump campaign, he spoke to an awful lot of the big people in the campaign, okay, because of his position. And so they did that intentionally. Gina Haspel ran that operation in London. So Pompeo was the CIA director prior to becoming Secretary of State. A lot of people forget that. He knew that Gina Haspel did that. He never told Trump. She then becomes the CIA director under Trump, right? And he didn't know that she was involved in the very thing that he was fighting against. Pompeo's a piece of crap for not.
And Rich, I have to interject because again, you insulted lying scumbags.
I know. I keep doing it. I'm sorry.
And the other thing that I want to point out that I've said numerous times, this is an example of how we are so grateful that Trump did not actually take office in 2020.
Right. Oh, I know.
We should be very grateful because he would have been saddled with all of these same individuals.
Yep.
And we would never have gotten out of it. So in reality, the Democrats gave us the biggest gift.
That is true. 100%.
And we didn't know it at the time, but it gave Trump 4 years. Okay. What did he do for 4 years? Can you guess?
Oh, yeah. He sat back and he did his research. His people still had classified clearances, so they were able to get information. He went over those Crossfire Hurricane. He thought about what he did is he got the best legal minds down at Mar-a-Lago to tell him, to answer his questions and to help him how to do the things he's doing now. And I'm not talking just about getting even. I'm talking about like how to do the trade deals. Can he actually do his own trade deals without going through Congress? Yes, he can. All like how to actually drain the swamp, which he's doing.
Yeah, he
Because
pulled
that
together.
Doge shit, that drained a lot of the swamp so far.
He pulled together.
Firing people left and right.
He took 4 years to pull together some of the best legal minds.
Oh yeah.
And the best team for his cabinet.
Yes. Yeah. Oh
and
yeah. Best cabinet ever for him.
He
Loyal.
spent a lot of time thinking about it. And if you look, I mean, you can say what you want about Pam Bondi, but if he would have been saddled with, I don't know, Mike Pence and go through the list of names. If they would have been there, it
wouldn't have been pretty. Yeah, we would have had another 2017. But
yeah, so thank you, Obama.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because was it Obama? It was Hillary. No, it was Obama and Hillary.
Well, yeah, it was the Biden people. They're the ones that stole.
Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it prepared him for what he really had to do. And what got me was when he was firing people in 2017, the press was going out of their mind. Oh, he wants people to be loyal to him. Why not? He's the guy they're working for. Your boss wants you to be loyal to the agenda that you're pushing, right? Well, now he no longer listened to Jared Kushner, and he hired who he wanted, and he has the best people around him.
Yeah, first time around, he took advice from the wrong people. He didn't know what the swamp was like, and he'd learned in the first 4 years. He learned what the swamp was like and mostly who was in it. Yep. And then the next 4 years, he learned how to combat it and who to get on his team.
He had 4 years also for him and his team of lawyers to go over the Crossfire Hurricane documents that he declassified. Now the FBI stole them, but guess what? He had copies made. Why? Because they were declassified. He's allowed to make copies.
Yeah. So do you think that, on the 21st of January, when he sat behind the Resolute desk and signed off however many things that he signed off, do you not think that those orders had not been written months before? Months.
Oh, yeah.
He had 4 years to put this all in order,
Yeah,
and
they
man,
yeah, and they did it by stuff it in your face, which was nice. They hit them
Yep.
with so many things. Like they would hit them. First of all, it was with the cabinet members. They would hit them
Yep.
with somebody. They'd be like, "Oh my God, he's going to put Matt Gaetz in there." Then the next day, he'd throw the next person out. So it got to the point where there were so many things they didn't know what to bitch about.
yeah, for the first 3 months, he just kept them off balance.
Exactly. And I think Trump does. Trump listens. Look, he listened to people, and he did listen to people for the Epstein stuff, because now he's doing other things. He did listen to it. He had to do something, or else he was going to fracture MAGA. Right? You have people on two
Yeah, we
sides.
don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that. I mean, why in God's name would we want to do that now? You know, when we've got everything going our way. So the libs are just losing their ever-loving minds. Let them lose them. Let me start. Believe it or not, there was a time many moons ago when MAGA actually thought Mike Pompeo was one of the good guys, a straight shooter, somebody looking out for President Trump and the America First agenda. But were we wrong? Boy, were we wrong. To be fair, he fooled a lot of people early on. Not me. I never liked him. I always thought he was a deep state guy, like an establishment guy. That's likely why he was handed some of the most powerful, high-ranking positions in the entire U.S. government. But it didn't take long for the mask to slip and the truth to surface. Pompeo was a deep state asset all along. Since then, both President Trump and the MAGA movement have learned a hell of a lot about Mr. Pompeo and his true agenda. Let's just say it's been a real eye-opener, but nothing has been as chilling, as revealing as the latest info that just leaked out. More on that in a moment. In the meantime, Pompeo's fall from grace was a loud one, a giant political thud heard round the world. And from there, it's been all downhill for the biggest loser in politics. 2 years ago, Revolver published a piece with the perfectly fitting title, "We Shouldn't Have to Write This, but Yes, Mike Pompeo Sucks." Great headline. But beyond that, I did a headline once about Elizabeth Warren saying Chief Crazy Bitch wants to do something. And the publisher was like, he's laughing his ass off on the phone. He's like, "That is the funniest headline I've ever seen, but I can't put that." I'm like, "Sure you can." Come on, he didn't. But beyond just pointing out,
he didn't.
Yeah, but beyond pointing out the obvious, that Mike Pompeo sucks, we dug into how he's managed to be so deeply entrenched and destructive, all while flying under the radar. And honestly, it's guys like him who make the most dangerous kind of deep stater. Exactly. The article you're about to read is probably unnecessary. Nothing is ever certain in American politics, but some things are nearly certain, and there is nothing we are more than nearly certain of than this. Mike Pompeo is not going to be America's next president. Exactly. I can't believe he ran. What's that? Is that your shocked face?
Yeah, this is my shocked and happy face.
Yeah. We can assert that with almost 100% confidence that Mike Pompeo will never win a single Republican primary, let alone win the nomination, let alone win the presidency. It was obviously back in 2020, I guess. But you know what? Why take the chance? It's not inconceivable that somehow a friendly media and more nimble frame will allow Pompeo to bafflingly and inexplicably squeeze into the brains of GOP voters as an acceptable choice. Or, hey, maybe a meteorite will slam into a GOP primary debate stage and leave Pompeo as the only survivor. We're just spitballing here. It's funny. The point is, Mike Pompeo wants to be president. Pretty much every time I received a text from his campaign, I would write back, "You're a POS. You never told Trump about Gina Haspel. Go to hell." But he always still sent them, right? The point is, Mike Pompeo wants to be president. Pretty much every politician dreams of reaching the top. But even knowing that, Mike Pompeo's naked ambition for the office is well known and drives almost everything he does. That's why, out of the blue, Pompeo is taking calculated swipes at the president who plucked him from the House to serve as his CIA director. In the 2016 primaries, Pompeo was one of the loudest critics of Donald Trump's candidacy until the exact moment it became clear that Trump wasn't being stopped, at which Pompeo flipped, Lindsey Graham-like, to becoming one of Trump's loudest supporters. I remember that. It's one of the reasons I didn't like him. Pompeo parlayed that swerve into a stint as Trump's CIA director and then as his Secretary of State. But now, having deduced he has sucked every drop of gain to be had from Trump, Pompeo is discarding him like a used up husk. Pompeo is calculated, and he's mastered that disarming, unflappable style that makes him seem harmless. Maybe it was the girth that gave him that jolly, relatable vibe. The Biggest Loser couldn't be all that bad, right? But he was, and he still is. And it wasn't just Revolver sounding the alarm on Pompeo. One of the fiercest and most powerful critics was none other than Tucker Carlson, exactly, who single-handedly crushed any chance Mike had of worming his way back into Trump's new administration. Right, because what happened? They were saying, Mike Pompeo wants to get back in, and Tucker was like, screw you, go to hell. Nobody wants to talk to you. And I was like, wow, why is he being that way? Shortly before the election, Tucker Carlson approached Donald Trump with an urgent plea. Mike Pompeo had to go. Many in Trump's inner circle believe that Pompeo, who served as Secretary of State and CIA director during the first term, was the clear frontrunner to be the next defense secretary. The day before the election, Trump praised Pompeo during a campaign rally, marveling at his recent weight loss, twice calling him handsome. But to Carlson, the former Fox News host, who continues to have deep influence in conservative circles, Pompeo was a risky pick. Carlson argued that he is a warmonger. He is. He's a neocon. He highlighted to the president-elect a list of grievances he holds against Pompeo, including what he said was an alleged plot by then Secretary of State to assassinate WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, according to multiple people with knowledge of Carlson's efforts. Carlson went public with the allegations about Pompeo and Assange in an April interview on Joe Rogan's podcast during the 2021 election. Let's see.
Committed a crime. He's threatening me. He's in my car. With my dog sitting next to me. I'll never forget this. And I said, are you really saying that to reveal that the U.S. government had a role in the murder of a democratically elected president, to say that out loud, that's the crime? What about the actual crime, which is murdering a president?
Right.
Like, you're covering up for that, Mike
What did
Pompeo.
he say to that?
He had no response at all. And so Mike Pompeo is the one who pressed Trump to keep those documents secret. And so it's like, what's crazy to me is not just that Pompeo did that. I think Pompeo is a really sinister person and a criminal. I think that because the facts suggest that he was caught. Yahoo News, Mike Isikoff wrote a long piece on this several years ago. His employees went to Mike Isikoff and said, hey, Mike Pompeo is plotting to murder Julian Assange, who's never even been charged with a crime in the United States, as CIA director. That's illegal. You're not allowed. Federal employees are not allowed to just kill people they don't like. Okay, just set the baseline here. So that's who Mike Pompeo is. But he somehow intimidated Trump into not releasing this. Well, okay, that's all bad, right? I think it's criminal behavior.
Wow. Yeah, he called that right. Yeah, I never liked Pompeo, ever. The MAGA.
Yeah, I don't think I really ever did either.
That was all. Here you go. The MAGA kerfluffle is all about sequence of importance. That was all. But shitting on the base because it's not his sequence is wild and unnecessarily divisive. Exactly. Copperfield's on the list. Yeah, can't we just drone a guy? Well, Obama did do that. He killed 2 Americans, a father and son, who were never charged with a crime. He killed them with drones. And he knew they were Americans. He knew who he was killing. No one ever said a word. Can you imagine if Trump killed an American in the Middle East who was never charged with a crime? Even if he was charged with a crime. Can you imagine? Unreal. Let's see. California encourages public to reinforce. Oh, yeah. Get this. This is great. Well, depending on how you want to think about it. I'm going to talk about California there. Bobbity. California encourages public to help enforce statewide polystyrene fund. That's styrofoam, right? They want you to rat out people. The California government rat people out. California now has a dedicated web page for the public to report violations of the statewide ban on foodware made from styrofoam. Beginning January 1, 2025, Senate Bill 54 makes it illegal for producers to sell or distribute EPS food service products, such as single-use containers and cups, or into a state. Producers were required to show a 25% recycling rate of EPS products statewide by the end of 2024 in order to continue sales. But this requirement was not met. Foam foodware is not accepted in most curbside recycling programs, so recycling rates must remain around 1% nationwide. This is the environmentalist wackos put themselves into a position where everybody's going to be violating their rules because it's not human nature. It doesn't meet the requirements of human nature. Like, well, let's figure out how much they're going to have. 2% now, because they're nuts. In addition to its low recycling rate, EPS is also a concern because it can release harmful chemicals like styrene, create microplastics, and much more. This law is part of the state's broader effort to reduce pollution and shift responsibility for single-use plastics from consumers to producers. Sellers who are not producers, such as retail stores, are not subject to this prohibition. Okay. In addition to the statewide foam ban, more than 100 cities across California, including several in San Diego County, have already enacted local ordinances. Let's get to the good part. Let's see. When reporting, all right, the California government continues striving for a balance between industry concerns and environmental goals while addressing the
they don't. No, they don't.
I know. Pollution. I know. Critics argue that the government's, what are we on? Fox 5. All right. Critics argue that the government's lack of a clear enforcement strategy has left producers, retailers, and waste haulers uncertain about how the ban will be carried out. When reporting violations to Cal Recycle, it is helpful to identify the brand names of the EPS serviceware. If you submit a report, you will create a public record that is subject to California's Public Records Act. Now, think about this, guys. So you're out there and you go to a taco truck and you order some burritos and they give you the burritos and it's a styrofoam thing. What's the first thing? Oh, I got to call this fucking website. Like they think people are going to turn them in just because there's a website. You got to be nuts.
What's the chance of me ratting out my neighbor?
Exactly. Unless your neighbor's a real dick. Let's take a
Well,
look.
I mean, there's some things maybe, but just in general, ratting my neighbor out to the government, like that's going to happen.
There you go.
I got to tell you a deep dark secret though.
Go ahead.
I got to tell you a deep dark secret.
Yeah, let me hear.
I absolutely despise styrofoam.
Oh, do you?
I hate styrofoam. I especially hate, those styrofoam peanuts, they call them peanuts.
Yeah.
I had a day one time, somebody who shall remain nameless spilled a box of styrofoam peanuts in the garage.
Jim did that? Oh my God.
I'm remaining nameless, okay? So
right.
I collect all these peanuts into the box, okay?
Right.
I walk out the garage access door. The wind comes around the corner, forms a bit of a whirlwind, and I watch as this tornado of plastic peanuts goes swirling into the air.
Oh, wow. What happened? Uh-oh, we lost Dr. Jade. I wanted to know what happened to the peanuts. Oh, no. She'll come back. I think it was California decided to stop using styrofoam for packaging. Rats destroyed warehouses. The peanuts got her. Yeah, the peanuts got her. Oh, no. Oh, no. Dr. J, there she is. We were worried that the peanuts got you.
No, let me finish the story.
Go ahead. We were waiting.
Yeah. So I collect all these peanuts. The peanuts have won. No, they pissed me really off, though. So I walk out back to put them in the trash. And as I walk out, the top of the box was still open.
Ooh.
The wind curls around the corner into like a little mini tornado. And I watch these peanuts sucked out of the box like a tornado. Just, like on these like horror movies where you watch like semi trucks and cows being caught up.
Yeah,
it was like a mini version of that.
Peanuts.
It was a mini horror film. and they went up and I'm looking and I've got like 3 peanuts in the bottom of this box.
Only 3.
Okay. And I got about 1,000 all over the back. And I'm thinking, you stupid fucking peanuts. Excuse the language. But
funny.
boy, was I ticked.
Oh, you had every right to be. They were
So
peanuts.
there. Do you want to do the HHS story?
Yeah, hang on. My screen just locked up. Hold on. HHS finds systemic disregard for sanctity. Yeah, here we go. This is the organ transplant story.
Oh boy, is this a good one.
Yeah. So HHS finds systemic disregard for sanctity of life in organ.
You want me to,
You want to read it?
One?
Oh yeah,
I
read
can do it.
Go for it.
This is good. Obviously, I'm a physician. This speaks to me.
Right.
So, Washington, a couple of days ago, U.S. Department of HHS under the blah, 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 major initiative to begin reforming the organ transplant system following an investigation by Health Resources and Services Administration that revealed disturbing practices by a major organ procurement organizations. Our findings, quote, our findings show that hospitals allowed the organ procurement process to begin when patients showed signs of life.
Signs of life.
And this is horrifying, Secretary Kennedy said. The organ procurement organizations that coordinate access to transplants will be held accountable. The entire system must be fixed to ensure that every potential donor's life is treated with the sanctity it deserves.
Imagine
Here's a good part. HRSA directed the Organ Procurement and Transplantation Network to reopen, remember the word reopen, a disturbing case involving potentially preventable harm to a neurologically injured patient by the federally funded organ procurement organization serving Kentucky, Southwest Ohio, and part of West Virginia. Under the, guess who, Biden administration, the OPTN's membership and professional standards committee closed the case without action.
Wonder how much they got for it.
So 103 cases showed concerning features, including 73 patients with neurological signs incompatible. That's incompatible, I'll repeat the word, with organ donation. At least 28 patients may not have been deceased at the time of organ procurement.
This is unreal. They're taking people's organs before they're dead.
Evidence pointed to poor neurologic assessments, lack of coordination with medical teams, questionable consent practices, and misclassification of causes of death, particularly in overdose cases.
Wow.
Vulnerabilities were highest in smaller and rural hospitals, indicating systemic gaps in oversight and accountability. You think? No? In response to these findings, HRSA has mandated strict corrective actions for the OPL and system level changes to safeguard potential organ donors nationally.
This is why I never got an organ donor card.
I don't think the rest of it really is going to add much more. Now, wow. Just wow. I mean, I can be philosophical about most things. And, I don't know. This is not something you can be philosophical about.
I know.
I mean, yeah, I try in my head. Okay, I'm thinking, okay, how, under what sky could you possibly justify this? And I mean, I'm thinking, okay, somebody's standing there. Well, he's going to die anyway. He's already dead. He's just still not quite dead. But really, come on, guys. Come on. I mean, whoa. Okay. Just whoa.
Yeah.
I got no more words.
And then we had the Planned Parenthood that was selling baby parts. The left is just not. It's another Project Veritas, James O'Keefe story.
Yeah. They abortion parts.
The first worst repills with Syrian refugees harvested on Turkey border. It's a global market. Wow. What does the White House and tight shorts have in common? What's that, Lou?
Drum roll, please.
Waiting for an answer, Lou. What does the White House and tight shorts have in common? I'm out here in these streets.
Oh,
No ballroom.
Okay.
All right, there you go. Yeah, my father said that when we were kids. I have two things to say. Balls. I mean, it's one word. He said, I said two things. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button.
Uncle Bobbity really wants to see me laugh and smile. Yeah. That clip you sent me earlier,
Right.
that was a Facebook clip that you sent me.
Which one? Of what?
The drums.
Oh, yeah.
That was a Facebook. Are
Yeah.
you sure you can't play a Facebook clip?
No, I can't.
Okay. Because I know you played a couple of Facebook clips from the news.
Yeah, but I can't play. It's the music. On YouTube, if you play someone else's music, they have lawsuits that go on that have nothing to do with the person, with the music or the music company.
As soon as you hear the music, yeah.
Lawyers sue on behalf of someone else.
I suppose you could put it up.
What's up, Nigel?
I suppose you could put it up without the sound.
That I probably could.
If you want to put like 15 seconds of it up without sound.
Well, it's a little kid, Special K. You would like this. Let me see. Yeah, I'll put it up without sound. Yeah,
Play like 30 seconds of it without sound.
Yeah, let me see. Where are we? There we go. All right. Yeah, your response to it was brilliant. I thought it was excellent. Hold on.
My response.
Yeah, your response. Is there a? Oh, there it is. Okay. So the kid. All right, I can bring this up. Here we go. All right, this little kid is playing Subdivisions from Rush. And I'm telling you right now, the kid was great. The kid was really, really good. So let me see if I can see. I want to play it, but at the same time, there we go. Let's see. Let's see if I can give you a second when he starts playing. There you go. The kids, just watch the kid. I can't play it because I'll get in trouble. I probably have to remove those.
Just watch the kid.
Just watch it. The kid is really, he plays it to a T. He plays the whole thing to a T. It's just like unreal at his age, you know? One of the guys says, he goes, how? He goes, I was picking my nose at his age and playing pots and pans. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, how old is this kid? What, like 4?
He's 10. I think he's 10 or no, maybe less. Somebody said he was 10.
I don't know. I don't think he's 10.
Yeah, he's got to be younger. He has to be. But he didn't miss a note.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah, he didn't yeah. I wish, you know what? I'm going to put the link here so you guys can watch.
Yeah, if you want to see it, with the put the link down.
Just go look later on, not now.
But
or look at it at a different tab.
I'll tell you what I said to Rich about this.
Yeah.
What I said to him, I'll read it. I said, that is disgusting and humiliating. I don't even know the kid and I hate him. Look at him.
I remember that. She's like, I'm disgusted. Like,
that's disgusting.
I'm like, all right.
I'm watching this little this fucking kid playing this. I can't play it, okay?
It's jamming really good too.
And he's going on there. And so I hate him. I don't know him, but I hate him. It's very simple.
Hate him, little kid.
Yeah.
Little bastard. All right.
Little
bastard. Yeah. Was it brass guitar kid? It was unbelievable on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a lot of young kids.
Anybody wants to see some amazing drumming from a young kid? There's a girl from Japan. Her name is Yo-Yoka.
She's really good. Yeah.
Yo-Yoka. She's got to be almost a teenager now, but she has some stuff from when she was like 8 and 9.
Do you think she's on the spectrum though?
No idea.
I'm only saying that because when she's done playing, she just sits there. And she doesn't move, doesn't laugh, doesn't smile. She just sits there. And so I'm thinking there's something wrong with this kid.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
she's
she's
like 6.
maybe she's an alien. I don't know.
Yeah,
But anybody wants to look it up, it's Yoyoka. Yoyoka.
let me see what this is.
Special K, you would like
send me
that.
something. Let me see. Am I allowed to? Oh, you know what? It didn't come through as a file, Lou. I don't know why, but maybe it's still downloading. I don't know.
Yeah, has anybody ever actually watched Buddy Rich? Do you know? He was like the greatest. If you watch some of the stuff, he was the original metal drummer.
Was he?
Because if you look at some of them stuff, he's doing blast beats and his hands move so fast you can't even see them. It's like amazing. Yeah, I mean, he would never have admitted to being a metal drummer, but when you see some of the things that he does, he's doing like blast beats.
Yeah.
Which
I want to ask you a question. Do you in the studio here? Do you see where it says "present" a button?
No.
Because when I was in 40's studio last week, I had to present where you can put up a you can share a screen. So
well, I've got some things at the bottom that aren't labeled. I've got a microphone, a camera,
yeah, that's for you.
A comment box, and then the 3 dots.
Do you have the plus sign inside the screen? A little down below should be a plus sign. There's a box and a plus sign in it. Do you see that?
No.
Okay.
Oh, no, I see a box with an exit. That's the exit. It's a pink box with an arrow.
No, because there's one and it opens up the share screen.
Yeah, I don't
You
have
can
that.
share a screen. That's unreal.
I don't have that.
Yeah. Yep. Ginger
Yeah,
Baker.
Buddy is a legend. You know, it's the old "I'm not worthy" thing.
Oh, you had to add them to the show. How you got to tell me how you did that sometime. Yeah, you got to tell me how you were able to do that.
Yeah, because I can't put stuff up.
How about that? Yeah, I was able to. That kid's still playing. Anyway, yeah. So, all right, let's do the next one. We're gonna watch Nancy Pelosi freak out. That's always a good thing, right? All right, let's see.
Anytime Nancy Pelosi freaks out, I'm all for it.
Watch Pelosi panics on CNN when pressed about insider trading. All right. She appeared rattled and visibly annoyed because they actually asked her a question. I'm going to skip right down to it. Is this the only one? I think so. Yeah. This is correct.
Yeah, it was. Let me just read what he said. I'm sorry that we had some sort of technical issue. Nancy Pelosi became rich.
Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
Yeah, but I wanted
what that means in the election.
I wanted to give you a chance just to respond. He accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
That's ridiculous. In fact, I very much support the stop the trading of members of Congress. Not that I think anybody's doing anything wrong. If they are, they are prosecuted and they go to jail. But because of the confidence it instills in the American people, don't worry about this. But I have no concern about the obvious investments that had been made over time. I'm not into it. My husband is, but it isn't anything to do with anything insider. But the president has his own exposure, so he's always projecting. He's always projecting. And let's not give him any more time on that, please. We're going forward here, and I'm very proud of my family. And while he might make fun of us, while somebody inspired by him breaks into our home and hits my husband in a deadly fashion, hits my
somebody inspired by him. The guy was a left winger. The guy that attacked your husband, he was a left winger.
My husband over the head, and he thinks that's a riot. I'd rather not go into some of my other complaints about him right now. Rather to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid.
She had to go off and blame Trump for her insider trading.
Oh, yeah, man. And did you love that sentence? I'm not into it. My husband is into it, and of course, just that's what I just said. Special K. I'm not into it. My husband's into it. And of course, we never talk. We never talk.
Yeah, unreal.
I mean, the woman who was Speaker of the House, who was personally responsible for the acts that would adjust the stock market gets to trade on that. You know something? My guy from Edward Jones, okay? He cannot trade individual stocks. My financial advisor works at Edward Jones.
Right.
He can give the money to Edward Jones and they'll put it in funds. He is not allowed to trade on individual stocks because he's too close to the source. You think?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what they did was in the beginning, they made it a law that before an IPO could go out, before it could go to the SEC, it had to go through Congress. And they had to look at it and discuss it, and is everything on the up and up and all. They only did that because they wanted to see what they should, when the IPO was, how much it was. Because you get, when you're trying to get the IPO, it's like every week you got to send in new reports of everything that's going on with your company. So they were able to hire analysts. Yeah, it's a grift. They were able to hire analysts that would be able to say, wow, this one's going to be good and all that. But then they got rid of all that. Then they had Larry Fink from BlackRock, who would give them heads up if a CEO bought like 20,000 of his own stocks, his own company stocks, because that meant that he knew something was coming that nobody else knew, right? Try
Pop
that.
quiz, Reg. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. What do you call it when somebody trades in the market based on information that they have that is not available to the general public?
Trading.
Bingo, you gotta give the man a Cupid doll.
Yep. What's a Cupid doll?
I'm not quite sure.
You're a fool if you don't watch RPW media.
Oh, that's nice. Dude, I got to play this. He did some, Louis did, I just can't, I got to push it off. Let me see. How can I do that? Because it's not coming through on
Oh, Lord.
PC. What's that?
Oh, Lord. Okay, we gotta take a small break.
Why? What's going on?
Go to your browser.
Right.
Okay. Type in Cupid doll. KEWPIE doll.
Okay. KEWPIE Cupid doll. Okay.
Yeah. Bring that up and then share your screen. Oh my.
Well, I don't have anything. There's no pictures or anything.
Well, go up top and hit images.
Oh, images. Okay. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Share the screen.
No anatomical things going. Here we go. Cupid doll. Look at these.
These are Cupid dolls, people.
Holy
I guess
man.
I never really thought about it, but
Wow.
this is a Cupid doll.
That would scare the living hell out of me if I would look at this one right here. That would scare the living hell out of me.
Wouldn't it? I mean, if you're a kid and somebody gives that to you, and you're like an infant and
Like
you wake up and this is in
Holy
your crib.
Holy mackerel!
You know, I've always used that. That's. I mean, I guess my parents.
That would be
Maybe
very
I don't know, but give the man a Cupid doll for winning, and I guess I never followed it up in all of my years. I never followed it up. I never knew exactly what a Cupid doll was.
Yeah, creepy doll.
That is some scary shit, man.
I know. Wow.
That is some creepy ass shit.
I know.
I mean, dolls are creepy at the best of times.
Here we go. Hold on.
And clowns are
great.
super creepy. Clowns are super creepy.
This is great. You're gonna love this one. This is funny. Let me present it. I'm gonna have to go off and on again just because it. Goddamn. Here you go. Ready? Watch.
Oh crap.
What do you? Can I help you?
No.
What are you doing here?
I'm really sorry. I was going to ding dong ditch you guys. I'm super sorry.
Did your dad know you're out here doing this? I will call him right now.
Yeah, he does know.
I doubt that.
What's the hold up?
I've been caught!
Oh, run!
Is that your dad?
Yeah.
He goes ding dong ditching with you?
Yeah, he says it's a core childhood memory and he wants to be a part of it. Okay.
Run, he says.
Are you kidding?
That's just weird. That's just. What is
Can you
this
imagine?
like a? Is this like specialty weird night or something?
Yeah, but it's like like the kid's father says, "Let's play ding dong ditch," and the kid gets caught, and he has to tell the neighbor, "Yeah, my dad's in on it."
Is this? I don't know. All of the angles from the stars are coordinating. I present you Cupid dolls, and you present this, and it's like
These French clowns. I just don't like the French particularly.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So that was.
And that all starts. That all starts from the court of Louis XIV.
Yeah.
You know, none of them bathed, and
Yeah, well,
for the
because they
most,
thought that water would like kill.
yeah,
them.
it was bad.
Yeah,
And
they thought water would kill 'em.
and when especially the women with the big hair, and they would just put more perfume in their hair. They never washed their. And they had special fine combs.
Yeah.
That they would be able to put in there to scratch
pick the
because they
lice.
were
To pick the lice.
100% infested with lice.
Yeah. Now, did you ever hear of a Tussie Mussy?
I don't think so.
Okay, the ladies in Philadelphia that were of affluence, they would have a Tussie Mussy. Now, a Tussie Mussy was a stick, and on the end of the stick was a little bag that connected to it, and you put fresh flower petals in it. Because when you met each other walking down the, hello, Gladys, and you would hold the thing up to your nose so you didn't have to smell her. And she would hold one up to her nose so she didn't have to smell you. Good day. And you'd walk away and you put your Tussie Mussy back in your purse.
That's news to me.
Yes. Yeah, that's what they did. They didn't bathe because they thought that when they drank it, they got sick. So they thought that when they would bathe like once every 18 months. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Well, I guess
they had a lot of kids back then too. How the hell was that going on?
Yeah. And I guess Elizabeth I, she was thought to be a total whack job because she bathed like once a week. She was a whack job.
Who was? I'm sorry.
Elizabeth I. She was a total whack job. Everybody thought she was a whack job because she bathed once a week. She it's like, my God, you're always in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Once a week.
Well, they also you ever see the portraits of the women and they had that white alabaster skin?
Arsenic.
Yeah. It was yes. Actually, it was lead that they put on their face, lead powder, and then they covered it with beeswax. And they were dying of lead poisoning is what they were dying.
Arsenic.
Well, I had read that it was lead. It was a powdered lead.
Maybe it was both. But the arsenic
everybody
is
had
what
smallpox back then, and it filled the holes up.
Yeah,
and then they
but
had
the white
to walk around with gray colored face. So
the arsenic is what gave it the white color.
Okay.
Maybe it had both. I'm no expert. I don't use it, but
yeah, that's crazy though. Crazy talk. Crazy, right?
Once a week, my God, woman, you're in the bath again.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh my goodness, what do you think? Yeah, well, she was the queen, right? So let's see. What else is there? Russian FBI, put more oil in the fire. Trey Gowdy, who cares? Megyn Kelly, yeah, we got to watch this. Hang on. This is pretty good. We won't watch the whole thing, but Megyn Kelly goes off on Hillary.
Yeah, I got to say something, though. First,
probably got a commercial.
This is the best vitamin for sciatic nerve pain. If you have sciatic nerve pain,
I want to say something to Estelle. Is that the French are the only people
came out of
that
my lungs the first time I tried this.
Right.
It felt like I could find.
Now I can pause it.
Hang on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the French are the only people that had a civil war and lost.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that was they couldn't even win that. Yeah, I always say the only French I know is "we surrender." That's it. I can't speak French other than that.
And you know how you identify a French soldier?
How?
As sunburned armpits.
Yeah. He's the guy running away, right?
Yeah, sunburned armpits. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. All right, here we go.
All right.
Here we go.
This woman should be in jail. Literally, Hillary Clinton should be behind bars. And so should the people who worked for her who did this. This is so blatantly corrupt. She wanted to distract from her email scandal. She cooked up a plan to accuse Trump of being a Russian agent. in order to distract from her own legitimate scandal. She made up a scandal about Trump being a Russian
asset.
And they banked on the intel agencies working with her to perpetuate this lie. And it appears they were only too happy to assist.
Yep.
That's what this scandal's about. Pieces of it we knew. New pieces are coming in by the day thanks to these declassifications. And it's downright shocking. Do not believe that there's no there there. The people who are saying that are wrong. They're wrong. What just broke today, like moments before we came to air, we're still getting our arms around it, was obviously provided to Michael Schellenberger before 2 minutes ago. And his Substack page, Public, that's the name of it, has a fantastic breakdown of what's in this new piece of information, the annex to the Durham report. You remember John Durham was the special counsel appointed under Trump to go through what had been done to him and try to figure out who did it, who helped, and whether anyone should be prosecuted. Well, even his information was not made entirely public. All right, now we reported that the Durham report, again, which investigated how the FBI's crossfire hurricane in 2016 investigation into Trump allegedly being a Russian agent and or members of his team allegedly being Russian agents got started. How did this massive fraud get perpetrated on Team Trump and on the American people? Yeah. That was Durham's charge. And they already made clear that the Clinton campaign had a mission of trying to push this lie. And now we're learning, I mean, it's incredible what I'm seeing here going through there. But like, it is so clear. Now we know that what happened was, remember we've been talking this week about how we talked about it with Aaron Mate, about how it now looks like the Russians didn't hack the DNC, that they were not the ones who hacked the DNC, but they were hacking other people. And what appears to have happened is they hacked a couple of high-level operatives who were connected with the Clinton campaign or who like were friendly with it. And they caught on to this plot. The Russians did. The Russians caught on to her plot to try to paint Trump as an agent of Russia. And the Dutch were spying on the Russians.
That's who it was, the Dutch.
The Dutch got their spies got their hands on the Russian intel that the Russians had stolen from its hacks of people around Team Clinton. And then the Dutch told us, the Dutch said, yo, hey, this is bad. It came to the Americans with whom they're friends and said, you should read this. The Hillary Clinton's about to do something bad. And instead of then, Jim Comey saying, oh, when he saw like the Steele dossier saying, well, this is obviously bullshit. Who's Fusion GPS?
See, but you got to remember, guys, they all thought Hillary was going to be their boss. They wanted to keep their jobs. So they went along with it. So in other words, they put their own personal thing in front of national security.
Who hired them? Oh, Hillary Clinton. Oh, okay. I know exactly what's happening here. This is bullshit, guys. This is the Hillary Clinton ruse. Instead of doing that, not only did they not dismiss the bullshit coming into them from Hillary's operatives, but they doubled down and they opened up an investigation into Trump and his campaign and started arresting people and using the Hillary generated information like the Steele dossier and more. You heard Aaron Mate explain she had this CrowdStrike group that suggested it was the Russians who had hacked the DNC. They took that hook, line, and sinker and so on. So this shit's crazy. What she did, I don't even have the words. She's still walking around acting like she won and he stole this election and it was the one back in 2016 and that it was not legitimate. She's not delusional. She's a liar to her core, And she's been supported by everyone around her and by the intel apparatus that was in place under Obama and frankly, thereafter. There are so many officials who were fine doing this. All right. What the new appendix to the Durham report reveals is that the CIA had the intel to show the goal of Clinton's plot was to distract from that email scandal. We had heard Durham make reference to this. It's right there, black and white in the appendix. But then the FBI, when notified of this, rejected the intel about Clinton's plot. They said, oh, it looks like hearsay. They rejected, like, oh no, we don't believe it. Okay, you don't believe it because there are other pieces in here and they believe those, but they don't believe the stuff about Hillary. Schellenberger writes it up this way. There are strong suggestions in the Durham appendix of the Clinton campaign working hand in glove with the intelligence community. She had a receptive audience at FBI instead of a skeptical one for her lies. And that's really how this whole thing got started. And they actually named some names that I've never heard of before. And their attempts to get these people to admit what's in the documents that the Russians got their hands on, that we found out about thanks to the Dutch. I mean, like, we'll name the names. I'll go through this with you. But like, why haven't these people been arrested? Why was Michael Flynn prosecuted, but not these people? Why did Carter Page get spied on, but not these people? Since President Trump was sworn in, his administration has made enormous progress at a breakneck pace.
We don't need that.
Anglo, I have to ask you, educate me. What does needs a few pies down her Gregory mean? Please. Okay, we'll wait. I want to see this one about Eric Swalwell.
Is she back? Well, I have something that Louis sent me that I got to play.
Okay.
He did this in AI. Here we
You're
go.
a fool if you don't watch RPW Media every Friday night at 6 o'clock.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure what happened to Rich. I'm not seeing Rich. Can anybody see Rich? Okay. Gregory Peck. Nick. Oh, rhyming slang. Okay. And what about the pies?
All right, I'm back.
Okay, Anglo, I get the rhyming slang. What about the pies? Pies around her Gregory.
Yeah,
Pies
Louis,
down
it
her
blew me
Gregory.
out. It blew me out. It blew
Yeah,
out
it
my
blew
camera.
you right
It
out.
blew everything out, man.
It blew you out.
Yeah.
So yeah, what about the pies? I get the Gregory is kind of down the neck.
We keep talking about disappearing act. Yeah, we're talking about pies. What do you mean?
Well, if you look back, Anglo said, Meg is lovely, needs a few pies down her Gregory though, and it makes sense because Gregory Peck is rhyming slang for neck. So the only thing
he's trying to get out of it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. A few pies down the neck. Are you suggesting she needs a little padding?
No, I don't think that's what he's suggesting. We won't get into that. Sit closer to the table. All right. Yeah, that thing blew out everything.
Yeah,
I just finally left and came back.
I still want to know what Anglo meant. So go ahead and put it up. I understand the Gregory Peck, but what about the pies?
All right, here's a fun one.
Eric Swalwell? I gotta see that one.
No, wait a minute. Where the hell was the video? Hold on. Is this the? No, that's not the video. There's a video that is. Oh, there it is. Finally. Okay. This is pretty good. You should like it. Elizabeth Warren falls. Here we go. Watch.
Senators voting in the affirmative: Baldwin, Blunt, Rochester, Durbin, Heinrich, Blunt,
Let's go back.
Rochester, Durbin, Blunt, Rochester, Durbin.
I'm just going to keep doing it.
Rochester, Durbin, Blunt, Rochester, Durbin.
It just never gets old.
Yeah, I think we got the idea though.
Yeah, but it never gets old.
Blunt, Rochester,
All right. I usually don't laugh at people who fall and get hurt, but that's Elizabeth Warren. It's
that's
absolutely
Pocahontas.
required.
That's Pocahontas.
With
So what are you
pies.
going to do?
Yeah, I call it crazy.
Eric
bitch.
Swalwell. I got to see that.
Which one?
Eric Swalwell.
Eric Swalwell challenges Greg Gutfeld.
Yep.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. And let me see, is there a video here? Yeah, they famously don't use videos. Oh, wait a minute, is that it? Yeah, no, it's not the Greg Gutfeld thing. It's not there. I don't know why they don't use videos. It has the video was mocked by his critics, but there's no video. Hold on, wait a minute. There it is. They don't put it up on themselves, but they'll put a link to it. That's crazy. Or not. Hold on. Where is? No, that's not it either. Huh. Yeah, they are notorious for not putting up videos when they talk about them. So I don't know. Yeah, they don't have it. They have another one that's a video. I'll play that of him because he gets ripped by House Intelligence Committee. He gets ripped by the guy that's
No, but this is great. Eric Swalwell.
Yeah, but I don't know what. Wait a minute.
He said he would leave Congress if Gutfeld beats him. It's great.
Beats him in what?
Bench press.
Oh, on the bench press. Yeah, see, we could listen to it, but there's no video. Why don't they put up the video like that? They just didn't.
Yeah, but Eric Swalwell tells Greg Gutfeld that he will leave Congress if Gutfeld beats him in bench press.
Tells Gutfeld he will leave Congress if okay. Swalwell tells him. So there we go. Yeah, because I want to see this now too. But no one's showing the video. Did they have the contest yet?
Oh, Swalwell's never going to go to that.
All right, so here we go. So this might be. Oh, here we go. Let's just play a little bit of this. I like Greg Gutfeld. I think he's funny and he's really good at politics as well. Here we go.
The lover of a Chinese spy fails to prove he's a guy. Our video of the day comes to us from Democrat weenie Eric Swalwell, who tried to appear athletic while attacking Republicans for a scheduled government recess. Roll it, Dario.
I should be working right now. I should be in Congress. I should be voting to lower your costs. But instead, I'm in a pool because Republicans sent everyone home because they don't want to release the Epstein files.
Do you hear this?
I should be working right now.
How many times do you think it took them?
You want to talk about a waste of time? How many times did they do that in order to get that right? Someone should have tossed him a plugged-in toaster. It would have been less embarrassing. Unfortunately, he didn't stop there.
I should be working right now. Instead, I'm going to be pitching for the Dublin Leprechauns. I should be working right now. I should be at the Capitol. I should be in a suit. Instead, Republicans sent us home.
Doesn't he look like he's getting tired?
Instead,
that's like 135
pounds at the gym.
It's weird because
he's got
over on the top,
Okay.
trying to get the right shot. I'm sorry, man. Shooting baskets won't make us forget you're a basket case. And with a bench press like that, no one will mind if you use the women's locker room.
Yeah.
Aaron, you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of an ex trying to win you back. Like, so desperate. Like, look at me. Look what I'm doing. I'm in the gym. I'm in the pool alone with no friends.
I mean, if that's how an ex gets you back, I don't want to know what that relationship was actually like.
Okay. So he had the bar. The bar. Well, I was just adding it up in my head. The bar is usually about 35 pounds.
It could be 20 to 35, depending.
30 in there, depending on time. And those plates are generally 45 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So he had 90 plus.
Well,
the
everybody
bar.
was
So
saying it was 135 because that is the warm-up weight in most gyms. When you walk in and it's set up for warm-up, it's at 135. It's just a warm-up. That's what they have it
yeah,
at.
that's what he was lifting is somewhere between 125 and 135.
How fast he
Yes.
was doing it.
Yeah.
And he was getting
So-
tired.
You know, I can lift more than that. Yeah, the man's pathetic. That was fun. That was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The bars are usually more like 35 pounds.
Yeah, at the bigger gyms, yeah.
If it's a full Olympic bar, it's like 35 pounds.
Yeah, I think Fang could have lifted more than that, but
Yeah,
just me. Yeah, her daughter lifts more than that.
Yeah, so he was lifting like 125 pounds.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Enough with Swalwell. Swallows well.
Yeah.
Sound the alarm of disengaged male voters. Oh, we got to see that one too. Let's see. Is there a video? No, there isn't. I'm not going to read all that. That's Ram Deadfish Emmanuel. Yeah, let's read it. It's Ram Deadfish. You ever hear why they call him Deadfish?
I don't think I've heard him called that before.
Oh yeah, that was his name because he was chief of staff, White House chief of staff under.
Yeah, until he went to be mayor of Chicago.
Right, and fuck up Chicago. But they call him Deadfish because every time he won an election, he would have a dead fish mailed to his opponent. No lie. That's what he did. He's a creep. Democrats have worried for years about shrinking support among men. Yeah. You tell men they're trash, toxic masculinity. You make it a law so that public schools cater to women instead of men, right? Not women and men, women instead of men. And you wonder why they don't vote for you, right? Yet the concern is rarely broken through the daily news cycle. That is changing more so following the party's 2024 loss to President Donald Trump, particularly this month, as 3 high-profile Democrats delivered almost the same message in separate forums. Young and working class men are drifting away, and the party cannot win future national elections without them. And here's the thing, guys. They don't know how to win them back because these young men that are leaving, they know they're full of shit. They're not coming back. Former Chicago Mayor Ram Deadfish Emmanuel was the latest voice. On a podcast hosted by Megyn Kelly, he said the party lost it with young men after years of walking on eggshells about cultural issues. Walking on eggshells, bullshit. They literally would insult men. No matter what, they would insult men. Doesn't matter race. If you were a man, they made fun of you. Think about it. In most commercials, right? The guy is the dumbass, and the woman's the smart one that comes along and solves whatever problem is in the commercial. I mean, it was cultural. That's how bad it was. And now they're wondering, why aren't these guys voting for us? Well, because they know you're full of shit. Governor Gavin Newsom raised a similar red flag in a 4-hour interview. Can you imagine sitting with him for 4 hours? We've got a crisis of masculinity, a crisis with young men. No, you've got the crisis. The crisis isn't with young men. Newsom said suicide rates, deaths of despair in every category. Our men are just getting crushed, and my party needs to own that. Well, then let them alone. Look at this. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, who was the 2024 Democratic VP nominee, echoed the theme on the At Our Table podcast. See, that's another thing. They're trying to go to podcasts now because they're trying everything they can, throwing shit at the wall and seeing if it sticks. And one of them is going to podcasts. The other one was throwing a lot of F-bombs while on TV. And then there was the exercising thing. So they have no idea what they're doing. They spent $20 million to come up with those. They went on a retreat that cost $20 million to learn how to talk to men because they forgot. You know, don't be an asshole. Like, don't insult them all. Just talk to them, right? That's how you win them over. But no, they don't understand it. The warnings land as data trends show a widening gender gap. Remember how they always said we had a woman's gender gap? Donald Trump has a well. Guess what? That went away. Nationally, it's a Pew Research Center. Pew's 2024 National Public Opinion Reference Survey finds men now favor the GOP 52% to 42%, a 7-point swing towards the GOP from 48-45 split Pew recorded in 2020. So, in other words, many young men feel politically invisible, unseen by a Democratic narrative they perceive as focused on others' struggles and courted by conservative narratives that offer belonging, status, traditional masculine signs of strength and certainty. Exactly. Because the Democrats, think about it, the Democrats, what did they push for the last 4 years? Oh, a man putting on a dress and declaring that he's a woman, right? That's what they supported all those years. And, besides the years prior to that, this has been going on. A lot of people blame the Columbine shooting on this kind of bullshit because Columbine, those kids were at the right age from when they started this crap in the schools that they were pushing everything for the girls to do. And they had a legitimate reason to start it because the boys, since the beginning of time, were always taught, you guys are in school. You guys are going to be the captains of industry. You are going to run the world. And the women, yeah, you're going to have a strong guy ahead of you. Clean the house, take care of the kids. That's what it was, right? So they wanted women to be able to compete as well, which is fine. But they did it by completely ignoring the young men. And now what happens when you get a bunch of young guys, right, that nobody gives a shit? Your parents probably don't give a shit about you either because they're too busy working both working jobs, right? The school does nothing for you, right? There's a lot of schools out there that canceled a lot of boys' programs because they were told to, right? The Clintons started this shit. And so now you got 20 years going by, and what happens? You got a bunch of kids that sit around and they go, fuck it, we're just going to go crazy. We're going to get guns. We're going to go into the school and start shooting people because we're pissed off. And a lot of people think that's what started the Columbine thing, that's what caused it because young guys it was just universally known that you're shit. You're never going to amount to anything because we won't let you. And that's what they did. Oh, you're back? What happened? Did she leave? Oh. I didn't even know you left.
I thought you would miss it. Yeah, it just got bounced.
I was reading. So
got bounced. It was on my end.
Oh, all right. Yeah. No, I was reading. I can't see it when I'm reading. I got to get another monitor in here.
Separate monitor.
I have two.
Yeah, I got bounced. I think it was on my end. Okay, what else are we doing?
Well, no, I was just reading.
You're still okay. We're doing that one.
Still on that, but
All
you know
right.
what? We're done.
Are we done?
Yeah, I don't have to finish that. We're done.
Okay.
So
What
you got
else do
anything
we
you
have?
want me to go over before we leave? Because there's a whole bunch of stuff I haven't gotten to. Let's see. Yeah, Kamala. Oh, this is good. Unbelievable. Ready? Here we go. So Kamala Word Salad Harris announces upcoming book about her failed campaign, and we can't wait. It was the shortest failing campaign in American history. All right. You wrote a book. You couldn't make it through a speech without the teleprompter, but you want people to believe you wrote a book? This is really good. All right. Those are the words of Trump impersonator extraordinaire Sean Farris. He's great if you ever heard him. In response to former vice president and miserably failed 2024 Democrat presidential nominee Kamala Harris, who announced on Wednesday the upcoming release of her behind-the-scenes look at arguably the most disastrous presidential campaign in modern history. Yeah, here it is. We got to watch this. Let me bring it up to its own page. Yeah, this is going to be
Just over a year ago, I launched my campaign for President of the United States. 107 days, traveling the country, fighting for our future. The shortest presidential campaign in modern history. It was intense, high stakes, and deeply personal for me and for so many of you. Since leaving office, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on those days, talking with my team, my family, my friends, and pulling my thoughts together.
Pulling my hair out.
Writing a journal.
I should be
that
president.
Is this book, 107 Days. With candor and reflection, I've written a behind-the-scenes account of that journey. I believe there's value in
I don't think 107 days is a journey.
sharing what I saw, what I learned, and what I know
That's a
it will
field trip.
take to move forward. In writing this book, one truth kept coming back to me. Sometimes The fight takes a while, but I remain full
More than 107 days.
of hope, and I remain clear-eyed. I will never stop fighting to make our country reflect the very best of its ideals, always on behalf of the people. So thank you for being in this fight with me. I am forever grateful, and I cannot wait for you to read this, and I'll see you out there.
Oh my God. So,
Anybody
all right.
get
Show of
the
hands.
feeling?
How many people are going to buy that book? Show of hands.
Oh, mine's down.
I
Holy
didn't
shit.
think so. I didn't think. I'll cut my arm
Now,
off before I put my hand up.
There's that video.
Yeah,
I believe
you're right.
It's in,
God.
that video is I believe incomplete because the video I saw had that, but there's like 30 seconds in front of that where she's basically sitting at a desk and talking to herself.
Yeah, your sound is making that burping noise again. It's
Okay,
like
let's see what
remember Ferris Bueller in the beginning where those sounds. That's what it sounds like. So at least
So
it
you're
sounds like
telling me-
something that was a hit in a movie.
So you're telling me it sounds like Pete Townshend's guitar?
No, not at all. It sounds like one of the synthesizers, the beginning of that song that played on Ferris Bueller. Like
How's the sound now?
You got to keep talking. Say something.
How's the sound? 1, 2, 3, 4. Mary had a little lamb. The fleece was white as
Still
snow.
got it goes like every 10 seconds. I know it's a pain in the ass.
Pain in the ass. I'll go out, come back in.
You should just go. Okay, she's going out and coming back in. One truth kept coming back to me. I'm completely unqualified to be POTUS right away. There you go. That's it right there. 107 days was a journey. It was a journey. It was intense. It was intense. I had to keep lying and fooling the people that I was adequate. Here we go. There you go.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Anybody hearing me?
Yeah.
How's that?
You're good.
I don't know what happens, but something goes whacked and I have to sign out and back in.
Yeah, I don't know. Now you're doing this on an iPad, right?
Yep.
All right. Do you have a PC there?
I do.
You might want to do it on the PC from now on, like a webcam, and just do it through your PC. Very easy.
Oh, let me try that next week.
Yeah. If you have a webcam, just hook that up to your PC and do that.
No, I'm already wired.
Oh, good. Yeah, try that because I don't think it's your connection. I think it's the iPad doing it.
But we're all fine now.
Yeah. It sounds fine now.
All right.
But let's go. Yeah, we were talking about Kamala still. Like 107 days is not a journey. Right? And think about it. The entire time she didn't go. Yeah, the iPad. Yeah. She didn't go on a lot of shows that she should have if she really wanted to be president. No, I'm not saying it would have worked, but she stayed clear of a lot for fear that they were going to unmask her.
I was going to say that's probably the best decision that she made. Can you imagine if she went on Joe Rogan?
Oh, he would have eaten her alive, and he doesn't eat anybody alive. But just asking her questions would have been like mean.
Yeah, he would have torn her into little bits, and not even meaning to.
The cool thing about Rogan is that he doesn't really have an agenda most of the time. He just wants to know things, and he asks questions because he likes to learn. And so when he has somebody in front of him, he may do a little bit of prep work to see what the guy's all about, what's his latest thing and all, but he knows the questions he wants to ask, and that's what gets him. Yeah, I know. She wouldn't last at 30 minutes. No way. Yeah, I was at the I went to it's when I met Scott Pressler. I went to watch on the big screen. It was a RNC event in PA, and it was during that debate. I left like 20 minutes or I couldn't take it anymore. I just couldn't take it. just the bullshit lies they let her get away with, you know, and then they only fact checked him, and he was right about all of it. Yeah, it's because I agree, but it's because he brings people on. He doesn't bring them on to attack them, because if you do that, then the next person may not come on, right? But he does ask questions. Now, I've seen him go off on a couple people, but not like yelling at them, trying to insult them. But he'll in your face tell him, be like, "Well, you actually said this, right?" Like, I've seen him do that. But you know, I mean, he makes a shit ton of money to do what he does. So
yeah, he does. He has his people. He has his people do some considerable research before the guests come on.
Well, he's got that kind of cash, you know.
He's kind of like a lawyer. He never asks a question
that he doesn't know the answer,
to which he doesn't already know the answer.
Yeah. Yeah, she didn't go on. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it wheeled all of them. Kamala, called her Camel Toe Harris. Let's see, what's the next? Easy White Dermatics was better. Megyn Kelly, we did that. J6 prosecute. Yeah, here's one. Freaking these people. I think they were fired like immediately. But the J6 prosecutors, they bragged to Congress about locking up Americans for misdemeanors. Look at this. 2 former prosecutors who charged and went after those who took part in the January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol are now coming clean about their true intentions. During a hearing before the Senate Intelligence Committee, the disgraced lawyers admitted to locking up Americans for misdemeanors. Mike Romano, former federal prosecutor in the Department of Justice's Public Integrity Section, which is where I think Jack Smith came from, testified last week at a hearing held on January 6, stating he is proud of the cases he oversaw, which resulted in the imprisonment of individuals present at the Capitol. Thanks to the work of our team, the Justice Department charged more than 1,500 people with crimes and obtained criminal convictions against almost 1,300 people. And every single one of them was charged with a crime that didn't exist. What am I talking about? There's a crime that was for the Arthur Anderson. Remember the whole Enron shit? Remember all that? Enron got caught. Well, Arthur Anderson got caught shredding documents that the Congress subpoenaed, right? And so Congress created a law saying you cannot obstruct an official proceeding by destroying evidence or destroying subpoenaed work. So when they said obstruct it, and that charge allows you to get into to charge other crimes around it. Okay. It was a predicating charge. And so what they did was they charged everybody with that. And here it was obstructing an official proceeding, and everybody thought, oh, wow, okay, well, that's the law. You know, they obstructed official. No, that was an Enron frickin' law. It was about documents. And so I mean, that's got to be illegal to do that. They did it intentionally. It's not like they misunderstood, right? These are U.S. federal prosecutors that did this. We ensured that the rioters would face accountability. These were people that weren't rioting. See, they want you to believe that the people that rioted, that they went into the building. 99 to 44, 100% did not. You know, the people who went into the building, the people going around you didn't see people rioting inside the building. At least I didn't. Then again, you know, Nancy Pelosi sat on 40,000 hours of video, so we couldn't see it, right? Unreal. Another angry former DOJ prosecutor, Sarah Levine, wailed furiously in a long egotistical rant about her career, how she was hired, what she did, what it meant to her, and how she was eventually fired. You should be imprisoned for what you did. Levine did not cry or express worry about locking up so many breadwinners in American families and permanently tarnishing their employment records with a federal conviction. She was proud of her work at the DOJ and disappointed that Trump obliterated her accomplishments. Quote, January 20, 2025, the president pardoned almost all of the defendants charged on January 6th and commuted the sentence of every other rioter. I was heartbroken. All that effort to pursue justice for the office. You know, this woman needs, oh man, she needs to be brought in and questioned herself. Like, why would you do that? Here we go.
Obliterated.
After 3 weeks of training?
3 weeks of training.
end up getting prepared for the next week.
I didn't know where
That
the
Friday, I
bathroom was.
left work. I walked to the metro station.
To the
I got
metro
on the
station.
train and I pulled out my phone and I saw a litigation hold that had been put
Oh
on
my
it.
God.
Attached to that was a memo that gave Mr. Martin permission to fire probationary employees from the capital seat section that were moved to other places in the office. The memo referenced people, but didn't have a list of names attached.
I used the memo for toilet paper.
The information provided was confusing. I knew I was probably on the list, but I didn't know exactly what was going on. I headed back to the office so I could figure out what was happening. I was met by my colleagues who shared their confusion and a heartbreak over this sudden event. We left the office, and 2 hours later, the letters started rolling in, terminating us.
Oh no.
At the end of the night, 15 assistant U.S. attorneys had been fired. The termination letter I received stated the decision was based on your actions in the prosecution of persons relating to the events that occurred at or near the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. An executive order
She's one of those believers.
issued on January 20th, 2025. The president characterized that work as having involved a grave national injustice that has perpetrated upon the American people over the last 4 years. It went on to say that my hiring has hindered the ability of the acting U.S. Attorney Martin to staff his
Good. Try to get a job now.
office in furtherance of his obligation to faithfully implement the agenda that the American people elected President Trump to execute. The termination letter made it clear to me that Mr. Martin does not understand the role of a prosecutor. U.S. attorneys represent the United States of America, not the president. Firing 15 qualified attorneys created an immediate deficit
They were criminals. They violated their oath of office.
in the office to appropriately prosecute cases.
Unbelievable. So now the criminals are whining because they got caught.
It says in the article she was proud of her work at the DOJ and disappointed that Trump obliterated her accomplishments.
Yeah, I read that.
The only problem that I have with that is that he should have obliterated her career as well.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said, try to get a job now. What you did to all those people that just, and think about this. The cops opened the freaking door and to let them in. So they went in and took selfies, and now they get charged with a crime. Yeah, guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button if you haven't already.
Yep, there's some slackers out there.
Helps.
Please hit.
Hey, Jimmy, if you're
button.
still here, I added a banner for you in yours. Here you go. Please do not feed the AJ. Okay, so you can use that. Let's hit the like button. And guys, stay informed out there. Please stay informed. Please do not feed the. All right, I'm having too much fun.
You're having too much fun. We got time for one more.
Do we? Yeah, we got time for two more.
Maybe two more.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's get a good one though. Buried. Nets give 1,000 times more coverage to run. Nah. Buried. I'm gonna find. Let me see. Mystery third person. Yeah, the mystery third person seen in new analysis of prison video from the night of Epstein's death. I know everybody's still foaming at the mouth. Epstein! Yeah. All right. Let's see. It was Hillary. All right, let's go. Who's the person? Let's see. Who is this person? Are we supposed to see someone? Wait a minute. Did anybody see anything?
Was that it?
Was there a person down there? Wait. Do you see someone? I don't see anybody. That was it. Oh, what a waste. I'm sorry. That was just ridiculous. Is there anything else here? No? Nothing else? Oh, that was a waste of time. They got to be kidding me, right? So what are they saying? Hold on. Let's see what they're saying. What are they? Let's go into here. I have no idea what they're talking about. So, because the little mic was, or the mouse was down on the left. Maybe it was the top that we were supposed to look at. Oh, I don't know. Let me see. Let's look at it again. Let's take a look here. So maybe, it's going to have to be here. So let's look up here instead of where the mouse is. Because they said it was supposed to be, oh, I saw somebody move. Okay. That's the news. Oh, good Lord. Talk about clickbait. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, clickbait for sure.
Yeah, I fell for it. Mystery orange shape. Yeah. All right, let's see. What the hell else do we got here? Chronicles whistleblower. Watch Trump. Watch. Trump wants to get stock trading ban done. Hawley insists. Yeah, Josh Hawley.
Yeah, we could do that one.
Let me see. Violent. Yeah. Did you guys see? It was a hate crime on the white people by black people.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Bunch of
Do you
guys
see the
beat up a
woman's
couple.
picture? Do you see the woman's picture in the end?
Yeah, didn't they kill the couple?
No, but they were.
I'm thinking of a different one.
Oh, all right. Yeah, they were seriously hurt. I mean, the
Yeah,
woman said,
there's
"Here you go,
one-
violent black hate crime." Now they'll call that racist of a headline, violent black hate crime, but that's what it was, right? Suspect skates free on $400 bond. I think he's the one that suckered that woman. Yeah, I can't play it because we'll get in trouble. But if you guys didn't see it, there was I forget what was going on. It was like I forget what it was. You know, I can't remember. But there was something going on. What's that?
A bunch of black guys attacked a white couple.
Yeah, and I'm talking like they had him on the ground, kicking him in the head, right? Punching him. I mean, it was just a bunch of people just go up, take a shot at him, right? And the guy's trying to get up. And then a woman, she just, I guess the woman was with him, I guess. I don't know. But she just went over and said something. The guy just sucker punched her and knocked her flat out. And this guy, the whole time, this one guy is going, "Oh, damn. Oh, damn." Like the whole time, he's just doing that, you know, and it was just like, it was like it was kind of like they were all standing around and they went, "Ooh, we got a chance to hit someone. Let's do it." And they all just went in, you know, and thought that they had the right to do it. So they were going to do it.
You want to do the story about the Cincinnati police chief about that incident?
Yeah. Where is it?
Right. Just below the middle of the list.
Woke Cincinnati. Yeah. Said they had it coming or something like that. And it was like, wait a minute. I watched the video. Show me where they had it coming, you jackass. So here we go. So woke Cincinnati police chief blames social media after black mob viciously attacks white victims. Now, you see, you're going to see this on the Populous Times. You'll see it on Fox. You won't see this. CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post. You won't see it. And if you do, it's going to be the white people's fault. The vicious attack on white people by a black, because you know what? I was listening to, can't remember his name. He's the guy that's, "You're a great American." He was in Cincinnati. He's been there 45 years on the radio. He's like a legend, right? Well, I was just listening to him. He was on Hannity's show the other day. They were on the phone. And he goes, "Look, the knockout game came back to Cincinnati now. And that's what's going on. If you remember the knockout game, black people were going up to other people, and I don't think it was a race thing. They would hit anybody, but they would just knock you out. They didn't hit black people, but they would knock you out.
Yeah, the game was to knock somebody out with one punch.
Yeah, with one punch. That was the knockout game, and I think some people died from it, and that was during the woke times when we had prosecutors that weren't prosecuting. So the vicious attack on white people by a black mob in Cincinnati, Ohio, continues to gain widespread attention thanks to J.D. Vance's half-brother and the city's mayoral candidate who shared the original footage. Ohio gubernatorial candidate Vivek Ramaswamy recently spoke to the woman who was viciously attacked by the black mob and left unconscious, bleeding from her mouth. Where do you see her picture? On the floor. She happens to be a single working mom who had attended a friend's birthday. The woman was sucker punched out of nowhere by the mob. She's a single working mom who went to a friend's birthday party, as posted Vivek. It's unconscionable that there were no police present in that area of Cincinnati on a Friday night or even an ambulance to take her to the hospital. That was her out cold. She just went down. Eyes are open. She's out. She didn't move. Let's see if they show her face. Yeah, well, let's see what this asshole has to say.
Another topic I want to cover real quick. Social media and journalism and the role it plays in this incident. And yes, guys, that's you. That is you. Social media, the post that we've seen, does not depict the entire incident. That is one version of what occurred.
Really?
At times, social media and mainstream media and their commentaries are a misrepresentation.
I watched the entire thing, and I haven't seen anybody else put anything out that wasn't in it. She's full of crap. The woman did nothing wrong to be knocked out like that.
Of the circumstances surrounding any given event. What that does, that causes us some difficulties in thoroughly investigating the activity.
You're a DEI hire.
And enforcing the law.
Has to be.
Because what happens, that social media post and your coverage of it distorts the content of what actually happened.
Wrong.
And it makes our job more difficult.
Okay. The woman did absolutely nothing to be sucker punched and knocked out. And she's trying to justify the fact that there were no police on that corner.
And tell me exactly what else could have been portrayed that would justify knocking a woman out like that and then keeping on punching and kicking her once she was down.
Yeah, yeah, that was her. Yeah, well, you know what else, though, Lou? She's the chief of police. She should have had cops there. It's what she should have had. She didn't have, not because of the incident, but like Lou, we've been on South Street in Philly, right? They have cops posted there because they know if they're not there, shit's going to happen. That's just the nature of South Street, right? There's a lot of places in Philly that are like that. You got to have cops there or else it's going to get rowdy, and then eventually you're going to have people fighting, acting like animals.
Difficult.
But you're right. It was a city councilwoman who said they got
in the central business section. They were working. Yeah. They were both in vehicles, and like I said, they had to maneuver through the traffic.
Second question is, you had said social media, news media distorted the content of what actually happened. What exactly was distorted? I understand that there was multiple views of the video, but exactly what led up to this? I mean, what was distorted?
Yeah, so I think.
Oh, look at her looking up. I think I have the facts. Let me make them up as I go.
Irresponsibility with social media is it just shows one side of the equation.
Oh my God, this woman's driving me crazy. There's not another side of the equation. The woman did not deserve to be punched in the face the way she was punched in the face.
Quite frequently, without context, without factual context. And then people run with that.
No, they do this usually on the other way. But when it's black on white crime, the media really doesn't even, I mean, if it wasn't pushed on social media the way it was, you wouldn't have seen the fake news media, the legacy media, you wouldn't have seen them cover it. If it was the other way around, of course, this is how they operate. We all know this.
And then it grows legs and it becomes something bigger that we then have to try to.
Well, maybe it wouldn't happen if you had posted police on that very busy intersection, you dumb. Don't want to say it. Let me see. How many crooks have you successfully chased, fatty? Exactly. Saw old pictures of Philly. That place was neat. And yeah, it was. Oh, it was because the people in Philadelphia, like any other city back then, they would sweep their stoops every day, right? They would take care of their houses. They would trim the hedges. You know, they would do all that. Now, people don't really care. They don't care anymore. Crook chasing the type of cop. Yeah. So let's do one more and then we call it a night because we're a minute up. Swalwell, Trump threatens Big Pharma. Yeah, Trump's telling them lower prices or else. He's telling Big Pharma. Yeah, Gowdy, don't want to play him. Nets give 1,000 times more coverage. Declassified intel. Is there anything else? Breaking Durham, Clinton.
I think we're just about there, Rich.
What's that?
I think we're just about there.
Yeah, well, here's one, and I'll get in trouble for the language, but I won't read it, but I'll put it on. This is Mike Benz, who's very big on social media. When holy, this is a classified index that has been classified for 9 years. This is where they cooked up the critical infrastructure hoax that created the legal predicate, it's predication, cover for the entire censorship industrial complex. And we talked about it earlier. Say something like a crucial infrastructure threat. And that's what they said. That's what they kept saying. So that's what we were talking about before. I just thought it was really funny the way he wrote down. He has, my mind is spinning in a laundromat turbine. They were that casual. That cavalier, that flippant, just went with, say something like a critical infrastructure threat. And that gave rise to essentially my entire life's odyssey for the last 9 years. What a flying flotilla of F. Yeah. Unbelievable. All right, guys, it seems to be that time. God love you all. Thank you very much for being here. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Remember, next week we're gonna have 42. I don't know if the other two guys are gonna come. They're certainly welcome. We're gonna have them coming on probably from the very beginning through until they want to leave. Yeah, because I know, because I've been on that show for a few times now, and I want to bring them on. And so bring your friends. Bring family, bring anybody you can. Get them on to watch next week if you can. Please watch my videos during the week as well. We appreciate you guys being here. Love you all. You guys have a great weekend and a good week. We'll talk to you later. See you guys.
Good evening, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Bass. Thanks, Lou. Thanks, Special K. See you guys.